Hello and welcome to the Invincible podcast.
Your hello's too fast.
Wow.
Hello.
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 That's better.
Hello. I can't do it slow. I need the rhythm. Hello and welcome to the Invincible podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get to sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Ottley. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and with me is Bill.
Hi, everyone.
And TJ.
Oh, hello, it's TJ.
What?
Nothing. Did you almost say Lorenzo De Felici?
I think
For a
because
second, I was thinking it.
I thought you were going. I always think you're going to say that because I'm so used
Really?
to Oblivion songs.
Has it been a while since? It feels like it's been a long time.
It has. Well, I think it's because we normally record two episodes a month. And so it's been a full month without you on the show. Because you didn't get to
I missed
record.
Oblivion
I didn't
song.
do Oblivion, yeah. And it created like this Twitter fucking like fiasco.
Yeah, because everyone was so
Nobody
excited that you were
knew.
gone.
People didn't know they.
Everyone liked Mike and.
People probably still think that I'm fired from it. Until I reappear, they're going to be like, oh, I thought he was fired because I didn't say anything otherwise. Like, and TJ just went with it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Yeah.
we're the Invincible podcast.
We are the Invincible podcast. We are going to be talking a little bit about some things that were brought up during San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to be talking all about The Walking Dead with full spoilers, just so everybody knows.
Spoilers
also,
more for Bill than anyone else.
Well,
yeah. We're also going to be talking about Invincible Trade Paperback Volume 12.
The good one.
The good
The
one.
best one.
There you go. You can't say good because they're all good.
How have you guys been lately?
Fucking busy, man.
I was about to
What
say,
the shit?
we just caught up for the last, half
is-
hour sitting here about everything that's been going on.
This is like the busiest month I've had all year.
Yeah.
I would agree. In terms of like summer activities, like me, my wife, my family, like we've just been so fucking busy. We got a new roof, new siding is going on the house tomorrow. We got a new patio. Like, yeah, it's just been insane. I mean, that's all adult stuff, but
Yeah.
it's still,
Yeah, but that plus kids and
yeah.
we got we're all going kayaking on Sunday. That'll be cool.
Yep,
There's
that'll be fun.
15 people
And it's
kayaking.
gonna be super nice out too.
Is it?
Yeah, the
Nice.
weather's supposed to be great.
If you'd like to email us to be a part of the show, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We are also, like we mentioned, the Oblivion Song podcast. So that other Kirkman book that's out there. This is going to be the final issue of an arc, right?
Yep.
That's really exciting.
And I think the final issue before the first hardcover trade
So you think the first...
not trade paperback.
Well, yeah, the first
Hardcover.
hardcover will be 2 trades.
I think it's gonna be 3. I really do.
You think so?
Yeah.
What is
It's gonna be
normal?
3.
What is considered the
Sometimes
norm?
it's 2, sometimes it's 3.
Just really depends on his mood.
Yeah, it depends.
Depends on the
Like
comic.
Saga is, it depends on the comic. Saga is like 4 or something like that.
You know what? And this is like skipping. No, I'll keep it. Never mind. Move
All
on.
right, you gonna remember?
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump right into some news, and that was San Diego Comic-Con. So I think beforehand we talked about what we had hoped to see.
Which
I
was
think
anything
pretty much,
more than what they did.
Yeah, I think we all hoped at least at the minimum, like a logo, maybe a screenshot.
But you know what? If they didn't show it at San Diego,
That's the thing.
it means that it's. I mean,
I
we're
said.
we're more than likely.
I said at most they were going to show a logo, but I really didn't think they were going to show anything at all.
Wasn't it like a few months ago, Kirkman said in an interview that for the animated series, they were going to start a marketing campaign in the summer and, all the way to the launch. So that's, I think, part of the reason why we were thinking maybe there'd be something to start the marketing campaign, but maybe it's going to come later summer and then really with the push in New York Comic Con, or the reveal will be at New York Comic Con. But I don't know. What were you going to say, TJ?
That's not what he said something. I can't remember. He said something like, "We have some exciting stuff coming up. See you at San Diego Comic-Con." I can't remember where I read that he said that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I might be getting it mixed up with Oblivion Song. I think he said it in the letters column of Oblivion Song.
Oh, really?
But even Oblivion Song, there was nothing.
Maybe he was just referring to Walking Dead.
I think he was referring to the movie.
Oh.
But then they announced it a couple weeks
Before, yeah.
and I think that's probably what it was.
Normally Skybound puts out like video footage of the panels. They didn't do any of that this year. So normally I like to splice in any time that he talks about Invincible or anything like that. So we don't have that,
Which is
stinks.
weird because it was called in conversation with Robert Kirkman, and normally
That's
means
the thing they do.
questionnaire.
Yeah, which they did last year. They put up the in conversation. I mean,
hope
maybe
do
they
that
still
with
will,
New
but
York.
yeah. Oh yeah. Hopefully they record New York. Same with the and of all the details that I have from the panel and all the questions asked, I heard nothing about the in other media panel.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, did you hear anything about that panel?
No.
I didn't hear a single thing come out of that.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
That was a panel?
Yeah, there was a panel
So they
following
had
the
that
in conversation
panel.
panel. Yeah.
But there was nothing released about what was said there?
No.
Kirkman wasn't a part of that panel. Though.
Oh, okay. It was Skybound?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Skybound
was
people.
Kirkman not on that
Okay.
one?
No, remember we talked
Oh, yeah,
about
he was-
that's
yeah.
why I didn't think that they were going to do anything in that
Yeah.
one.
All right. Well,
Or not
regardless, there were a couple little tidbits of Invincible related news that came out during, or comments that came out during the In Conversation with Robert Kirkman panel that I think would be fun to bring up. And shout out to Mr. Michael Patton over on Twitter, who was at the panel, and he was tweeting about it and letting us know what was being said. One of the things that Kirkman said was that the voice of Battle Beast in the animated series is amazing, but he cannot say who the voice actor is yet. And I remember seeing somewhere in an interview that Kirkman had said that they were still like finalizing the cast. So
they're still finalizing the cast.
Mm-hmm. Which is crazy to me, right?
But-
like you'd think.
I mean, just because they're finalizing the cast, and again, we know nothing, maybe we should fucking try to, like, figure out how they do things.
I did. And they
Can
do
they-
rough
can they-
animation first. Like the
Okay, but can they do some voice acting
I think so.
before all the casting is finished? Because what if, like, Battle Beast doesn't show up for the last 2 episodes, but they still have all of Invincible's dialogue?
That's what's
you know?
weird to me. Like I assumed a lot of the dialogue was done, and does that mean that some of it isn't done and they're still getting other actors? Like is that so sporadic that they just bring people in, record their lines, and then a couple months later they will record someone else's?
Yeah, like I've read things on multiple different like movies, like I don't know why, but Shrek. I remember watching something where like Eddie Murphy and Mike Myers never even like
Were in
saw
the same
each other.
room.
Like they
Yeah.
never even saw
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
And you couldn't fucking
couldn't
tell.
tell.
You know what I mean? So
I get that. So maybe there's a few voice actors that they hadn't finished it, and that's I guess kinds of.
I mean, Battle Beast probably
like
has
they-
like 4 lines in it. You know what I mean?
But
So that's
here's
the
what
other
we
thing.
need to
That's what I
talk
wanna
about.
talk about.
This is what we need to talk about.
Fucking Battle Beast is in the first season.
Hashtag TJ was motherfucking right. TJ was right.
Yeah, but Battle Beast
Invincible, the animated series will be 3 seasons total. 3 seasons total. I've been saying it since the fucking beginning.
No.
So I looked at
Battle Beast is in it.
What issue was
So
it?
what?
It was
Battle
like
Beast
issue
is when Titans
24?
20. It was
Something.
It was like early 20s.
And how many fucking issues were there? 144?
And he barely says anything
Yeah.
in that appearance. That's just the one where he shows up as one of Machine Head's goons, beats everybody up, says like this is a waste of time, and then leaves
And
through
then
a portal.
bounces out.
Do we think that is the only amount that we get a Battle
I
Beast?
do, because now that I'm thinking about it, that's fucking Kirkman right there.
So here's the other thing.
That's Kirkman to
We
say
know-
something like, to give news and to be like, oh yeah, Battle Beast dialogue is awesome. And he says like, grrr.
Right,
Like, that's
yeah.
it.
So
I think that they're going to introduce Battle Beast early in the season. Not like too early, obviously, but they're gonna bring him back. Like they're not gonna introduce him and then not show him again until the second fucking season a year later.
TJ, this means
He's
nothing.
gonna come in toward the end during the fucking I don't know shit.
Just be exactly. Just because you think it's gonna be 3 seasons because Battle Beast is in it.
No, that's not
and-
why I
and
thought that
has-
before.
Okay,
before
all right. But what if he's just adding more Battle Beast? Like, wouldn't you want?
So that's the question.
Knowing how awesome Battle Beast is now, wouldn't you want more Battle Beast? Like to find out what he's doing, like in the background. Why the fuck not?
Hold on.
Why
We
not?
gotta add this to it too. The unofficial announcement that we saw, whether you call it a leak or report or whatever, but Mahershala Ali is playing Titan, which is the whole mob boss story arc. Which
Is that
has to-
Blade?
yes, which is
No
also
shit.
Blade.
I just made that connection
Yeah.
right now.
So, which is also the mob boss storyline that leads to Machine Head and like Battle Beast
And
all
Battle
that kind of
Beast, yeah.
stuff. So we know that, regardless of how big of, or how big of a chunk that takes up in this season, that is going to be a major storyline.
Battle Beast literally.
Like the mob storyline is going to be a major storyline.
And then
in this
he's
season.
gone for fucking half the
I
series.
think that's what he should do. I think he makes an awesome appearance
Yeah.
and then comes back in season 2.
He probably makes like an amazing episode. Like, there's
What,
probably
like-
one episode where it's that, and his Battle Beast is very, very prominent. So then he makes an impact.
I
And
don't
then,
want him to be prominent.
And then three
I
or four
liked him in the
seasons,
comic,
and then
coming
3
in
or
and be
4
like-
seasons later, he's like,
What
everyone's
if-
like, holy. I mean, prominent like he's an episode. Like one whole episode is like he's very
What
prominent
if instead
in
of
that episode.
what if
I don't want that.
Shut up.
What if that scene actually happens, where they show up at Machine Head's quarters and he just unleashes all those villains on him, except it's just Battle Beast. Like
No,
the door
I
opens up
don't-
and he's like, "Here's," and it's just Battle. You
This
don't
is
like
why
the
I
fact
don't
that-
like that. Because
Why
in
would
the
Battle Beast work for him?
No. What I liked about the comic was like, these are my fucking henchmen. They're bullshit henchmen that work for me. And then they started naming each one, and Battle Beast was like third out of like 5 or
Yes.
something. You don't think he's gonna fucking do anything. And then it starts, and all these people are like, all the villains are like going nuts.
Well, what I'm getting
and then
at is-
Battle Beast comes out of nowhere thinking he's nobody, and he just starts fucking everybody
Well,
up.
what I'm getting at is what if he
I
just
love
wrecks
that.
everybody, just him himself,
Just
like,
him?
I
No,
don't want
not
that.
not a bunch of chaos and a bunch of villains. Just
I
one
would be
guy.
okay with that.
No,
honestly,
I
would be
want
okay
that
with that.
later when
Okay.
we already know who he is. He's gonna have those
You're
moments.
right. You're right.
He's gonna have.
But that's
those.
what I'm saying. Imagine if they did that, where he was, and I'm not saying that they will, but he is the only like henchman that's there.
Yeah.
And it's very prominently him, and then he's just gone. Like everyone's like, "Holy fuck, I love that guy. Where is he?" And then like a whole season goes by and you don't see him at all, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's in this prison. You're like, "Oh my fucking god!" Remember Battle Beast from the
Yeah,
first season?
yeah.
Like how
But it's
awesome
gonna
that
have
was.
the same effect if they do it from the comic, where they just make him one of the henchmen and he starts fucking people up. And then they're like, "Holy shit, I like him even more than what Bill said it was going to be," and TJ was right.
Both of
And-
our things are
Yeah,
okay.
you're both saying.
No, you're wrong.
No, I approve of both. They're both good.
Both are good.
So what we were just saying though is he's heard Battle Beast though, and him saying that they're still finalizing could just mean that they're figuring out the same reason why we don't know officially about Mahershala Ali, just because maybe they're just finalizing, the numbers
Right.
and all the like the background kind of stuff. So maybe the voice acting is done.
Yeah.
So
It's probably good that there wasn't much news because we're spending a lot of time on just
that.
this.
All right. Next one. He also said that Rexplode was getting more screen
Yeah,
time.
you fucking
Okay, here we go.
Yes,
Here we go.
You know why? You know why? Because Kirkman fucking regrets killing
Everyone
him off too
set your
soon.
time, your
He
fucking
fucking
stopwatch.
killed-
Rexplode,
regrets that
Rexplode
shit.
is the Shane of this now.
Yes, he regrets killing him off too soon, man. I'm telling you, there's so
No.
much more potential for that character.
Rex
There's so much more
Rex
potential.
Does
lived
that
on
mean there's
in
going
Robot.
to be? Does that mean there's going to be more love triangle? Do you think it's going to have a deeper relationship with Eve and like really build that up instead of like?
No, I think that was an appropriate amount of love triangle-ness.
I mean,
mean-
there's obviously going to be like more.
I think
because
Rex.
of
I think
TV.
Rex kisses her on the cheek
Yeah.
and then that's it.
You know what
Yeah,
made-
there's gonna
he
be-
cheats on her.
Yeah,
But
There's
a
gonna be more than that.
love triangle is so cliche and just overdone, which is why I think that the love situation that happened in Invincible was so much better because there was just like natural growth that happened. Like Eve wasn't with Rex, and then Mark could have been with her, but then wasn't right away. Like it's quote unquote more interesting if there's a love triangle, but I think this is
early
better.
on, I think there's going to be moments where like they're like so in love, Rex and Eve, but then like Rex is going to walk away and like make a comment that makes Invincible feel like.
Do you
oh,
think
maybe he doesn't
season
really
one
like her.
ends with Angstrom TJ? Was that your prediction?
No, well, yes, but the Viltrumite War.
You mean the Invincible War?
I'm sorry, the Invincible
Oh
War. Yes.
no, because now I'm thinking if it is going to be, there's also the like, it could be the Nolan fight halfway through the season, and then like the mob boss
No
stuff.
way,
Hold on, and then
halfway.
and
Episode
then
2 to the
earlier,
latest.
earlier, whatever, and then mob boss stuff, and then Angstrom and Africa, and it could be Mark and Eve finally get together at the end of the season, which means for half the season, Rex is with Eve, which would mean more Rex.
There's going to be multiple plot lines, multiple storylines going on. So yeah, maybe it ends with them finally getting together.
Yeah.
But what is the threat that ends? What's keeping you? What's going to keep you
God,
coming back to season
It'd be
2?
really cool if it. Ultimately, though, if it is going to be if you're telling me it's going to be 3 seasons,
It is.
I would want it to be an overarching threat. If the main villain at the end of season 1, it has to play into 2 and 3, so it should be Viltrumites. If that's the case,
Or one Viltrumite.
Conquest.
Yeah,
God.
that's how I think it's going to end.
That's crazy to me.
It's gonna
All right.
the finale is going to be the Invincible War, and then the tail end is going to be.
So you're saying Rex
Conquest.
would die at the end of season 1?
Yes.
Dude, that'd be crazy. That would be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Actually, it makes sense if you think about like a lot of TV shows. They make you fall in love with one character and they kill them off in the end of the first season.
Yeah.
That's not unheard of.
Someone asked Kirkman if he would authorize another writer to use the Invincible characters.
He addressed this many times before. He said no, right?
He said that he was too selfish and wouldn't want someone else showing him up.
Exactly.
He also said, it's very unlikely I'll die and not do more Invincible.
Is he's saying that it's very unlikely that he actually die? Like he's going to just...
No,
he's saying he's
gonna
gonna
do
forever.
more
He says he's doing more Invincible before he's dead.
Yeah.
Which means, he's going to live forever, meaning he'll never do more Invincible.
Right, exactly.
500 years later, what does he have? A lot of fucking Invincible.
Mm-hmm.
TJ.
See how I brought it back to the final issue?
You did. Oh my God.
I planned it.
And he also joked about how his dream casting in the movie would be Ed O'Neill for Invincible and all
Who the fuck is that guy?
The actors.
Who's Ed O'Neill?
He is the father in Married with Children. He's also on Modern Family.
Oh, wait, what show?
What is he gonna play?
What?
I know who you're saying.
Kirkman was joking. He just said that that's who he would cast in the movie. Yeah.
Wait,
and
is who and what?
The old guy from fucking...
Have you seen any Modern Family at all?
Law and Marriage.
The dad and...
Oh, Ted Bundy?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, he's just fucking around.
I was trying to figure out like who seriously it was, but now I feel stupid.
Then someone suggested The Rock to him, and he's
Al Bundy, not Ted Bundy. Al Bundy.
Al Bundy.
Ted Bundy is
The murderer.
Yeah. Jesus. I need to stop drinking.
Someone suggested The Rock, and Kirkman said that he was far too busy doing better things. So yeah,
I think The Rock would absolutely.
He would absolutely do it.
Fucking
He's doing
do
shit
it.
like Baywatch.
I think he would absolutely do fucking
San Andreas. That tower movie. What's the one where he jumped into a flaming building?
That's The Tower.
Skyscraper.
Or Skyscraper. Yeah.
Scraper.
For the record,
Yes.
San Andreas is a good fucking disaster movie.
Is
Have
it?
you ever seen
My
it?
parents love it.
It
I've never
is.
seen it.
It is really fucking good.
Alexia Daddario.
I like
She's
her.
cool.
Who is she? Is she the daughter?
She's the daughter, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I really think that you should watch it because you think like San Andreas is going to be like the whole tectonic
2021
plate.
or whatever.
It's nothing like those fucking
2012, I think
Hans.
it was.
No. What's the director who does all those? Emmerich.
Yes.
Something whatever.
Yeah.
Where they're always running from. This was like actually really
Alright.
fucking good.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we got.
Sorry.
Yeah. What?
Unrelated. Did you know that the Iron Giant
do you
is
keep doing
20
that?
fucking years old?
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane. When someone on Twitter was like, "Oh, happy 20th anniversary to Iron Giant," I'm like, "No,
We've got a lot of movies and TV show talk to do
Yeah.
at the end of this too. So we're gonna get into Walking Dead.
That's what you want to do right now?
That's it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's our main topic for this episode. This is the first time our main topic is not Invincible related, which is poignant, I think, because I didn't say it at the beginning of this episode. This is our 75th episode.
Happy 75th episode. Can you believe that the Invincible podcast is insert age years old?
Bill actually recorded that on our first episode.
How? I did?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, 75 episodes. That's crazy to me.
Wow.
Can't
That's
believe
when
it.
did we start this? 4 years ago?
We just hit I think it was only our third anniversary.
Third anniversary?
Yeah,
Wow.
this past March.
Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. I thought you were talking to the listeners. You mean us?
Well, I mean, the listeners are a part of us.
Yeah.
Like they,
So I thought it was poignant that we're talking about The Walking Dead because it had such an impact on our lives, and it's, we've talked about it before. It's what led us to Invincible. So it's appropriate that we're talking about it. And so we're going to go full spoilers. It is not unheard of, or it's not, what is it? It's not a secret anymore that it ended. So we're going to be talking about our thoughts on the final issue and all of that. We've got some feedback from listeners as well that I want to get to. TJ, how did you find out about it? Because we've been talking for a couple months now. Because I caught up, I started reading it again because I had taken about almost a year off of the comics. And so a few months ago, everybody was talking about how big things were happening. So I caught up just in time for Rick's death. And so when Kirkman said, like it was last month, when Kirkman said, hey, stay offline, don't go on Twitter, there's going to be some big Walking Dead related news. Just read the new issue. So So we talked about that. That was the last time we recorded. And your prediction was that Rick died in it. Meanwhile, he had already died, which was funny. And I told Bill, I was like, he's ending it. Like, this is what he's actually going to do. And that was the best way to do it.
Okay. Ryan, I don't know how you do this, but you did it with Invincible, you did it with Walking Dead.
Because I know Kirkman. He's honestly going to end it with the right number to make a compendium.
That's what I hate.
Always.
You like break it down. You're like, oh, there's 17 issues in this, and there's this many left.
Honestly, I get it though. If you read the second to last issue, like I'm reading it and I'm like, oh yeah, duh. I probably would have agreed with you if I was
in the same spot.
Yeah.
And then he says something major's happening.
Very clearly.
And why else would Kirkman say stay off? Because news headlines are going to put it in the title. You know what I mean? They didn't do that for Rick dying.
Right.
But something as big as this comic ending, they were going to put and that would just and he wanted to capture the the surprise of reading the issue and getting to the end and it just being like the end out of nowhere.
Yeah, but the last issue was also like 5 issues in one.
It was super long.
It was like 75 pages.
Yeah, it was really fucking long.
Yeah. 80 something, I think it was. I remember looking at the top of Comixology when I was like halfway through. I was rereading it yesterday. So yeah, TJ, you caught up. Did you read everything?
Everything.
Holy shit, you were.
And
you were a ways behind.
He was even further back, than me.
When we left here and we were like, oh, for the next one we should do Walking Dead. I'm gonna go home and read it. I fucking didn't. Not at all. Until like. I think it was I went home and I read like the first 2 comics or something where I left off, and then I didn't touch it.
Did you leave off like Whisper War or like?
It was just after Whisper War.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's where I stopped.
And then I didn't touch it until like when you texted us last week and you were like, "You guys gonna be good to record?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, I gotta read this."
Yeah.
And I read pretty much a graphic novel every day since.
Yeah.
So, trade paperback.
How did you like reading it that way as opposed to month to month?
I had to have enjoyed it more. I can't speak for the opposite, but there's no way I would have liked it as much reading it week to week.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah. It was slow, but like reading it all together, it was like a bunch of like if I read it month to month, I would have forgotten things like
especially
where people
like
left off.
Like the last arc before, like right before Rick's death and everything was. Him touring with the governor and like going to all the different places.
And I love that
like
it was when they reintroduced the governor and she's like, I'm the governor, and they like made a joke that her name was the governor and like
also very cool that they had that throwback right before the end, But around that's when I was reading those issues, and that was like 6 issues long of them just touring around. I'm like, man, this would be hard month to month.
Yeah.
Milton, right?
And a lot of them we're ending on very like bland cliffhangers.
Yeah, nothing like just
yeah. So
like it'd be like a conversation between him and her.
Yeah.
And him just being like, I disagree, and then it ends. It's like, oh.
But I did. I funny enough, I stopped reading it. I can tell you specifically, 2 issues before Andrea's death. I knew she died because that was everywhere. But I loved her death. I thought her death was great. Carl. After that and how he progressed after that, like even leading up to the end. Was that
in the section that you just read?
What?
Andrea's death?
It was the second issue that I read.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you had to. Man, it's been forever since I read that.
A lot is coming back to me now that we're talking about it. Like, did Carl decide to leave Rick and go where Maggie was?
He went to the hilltop
after Andrea died.
Yeah.
That's
around when you
where
stopped.
I think I left off. Yeah, that's where I left off.
So full disclosure, what have you read? Because you didn't catch up.
Nothing.
Other
than the last
Bill,
issue.
You pretty much know up to Andrea's death and then the last issue.
So how do you pick up the last issue?
Okay.
What was that like?
So here's not know anything that came before.
So here's why. So here's why and how I did it. So
whatever you're gonna say, I'm going to hate.
Okay. I had every intention of going back and reading it.
It's fucking hot in here, isn't it?
And then
shit.
So, like, the day before the issue came out, or 2 days before it fucking came out. Yeah, because it came out on Wednesday, and Kirkman said, stay off the internet, And then the day, like 2 days before it fucking released, like it fucking and it was his comment, like, and it was they released the entire thing that he like wrote at the end. I didn't read that. Yeah, I didn't read that. I didn't read that.
On Tuesday, solicits go out for like comic shops and people like can open them up and look at them, even though they go on sale Wednesday.
So I haven't even bought an issue of The Walking Dead since around that time that I just said. So I bought it online, and I had every intention of just reading like the first page, just to see, just because I was fucking curious, you know. Yeah. And honestly, like, I'm gonna go back and read it, but it lost what The Walking Dead was. And correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, you know, because you've read the entire thing. But I think that shows do this, and other things that you read do this, and it just kind of fucking turns into something that it wasn't what you fell in love with, and we got divorced. You know what I mean? We fucking got divorced. What it turned into, I didn't love anymore. So I had every intention of reading just the first, like, okay, this is the last issue. Mm-hmm. And
don't mean to interrupt, but that reminds me of, like, Invincible turned into a sci-fi. You know what I mean? Like, Ottley being like, it's in space now, and it's all him and his kid, and like, it's just different. It's not the same thing as it once was.
And I'm sure, I mean, Invincible is different because it just got better. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean, but it's just things can change, and people can lose.
Things can change, and there's interest. And whoa. Once I started to read it, and obviously everybody knows, like, it's a fucking huge time jump. I'm assuming, right?
At the last issue, yeah.
And it's Carl as an adult, and it's completely different. And I honestly didn't miss anything. Like, I really didn't.
Because like there's such a huge time jump, you don't miss too much.
And that's why I think that it's kind of fine.
I mean, the huge thing that you miss is obviously Rick's death and how he died and the situation.
It literally could have skipped that, and
what
you
happened
could have
to
just
the
assumed,
world leading up to that.
Yeah, like
what made it okay for Robert Kirkman to kill off the main character.
Yeah, like
what did make it okay. Anyway, so that's what happened. I was just enthralled.
We'll talk about it.
And it was like I was an emotional wreck. Like I didn't think, like I hate saying this, but I didn't care about The Walking Dead after what I had read, because Andrea had died, and I was like, it's just monotonous, and like there's all these fucking characters that I had no idea
that you felt like this, because we've talked about it before, and you always talked about how we've lost our love for the show, but we never lost our love for the comic. It's just something that we realized
for the comic in general, for like general, what I loved about the comic. Like I could go back and read the first fucking 12, 13 volumes.
I felt like it stayed consistent, and I felt like it was one of the most consistent long story arcs that I've seen. Is like, I mean, sure, like I feel like the first 100 issues are better than the second 100. Absolutely, I agree with you there, but I don't think that means that it fell off or anything like that. I loved catching up, and
I think that I was intrigued with it. I think that
you guys know me well enough. If I'm not interested in something, I'm gonna stop reading.
And I think it had its. I mean, and you did. I mean, you were like 20 issues behind.
Right,
so
but
that's
we
just
all
to
did
show.
that based on. It's difficult month to month.
Yes,
however,
it
I still
was.
love
That's
the story.
that is the kind of comic that it was mostly difficult month to month. Like Bill, I think that if it was released as volumes or as hardcovers or something, you would have never really stopped. You would have just read them when they came out, because it was significantly better in chunks than it was month to month.
I would believe that.
And it, just like Invincible, it has peaks and valleys and ups and downs, but I just feel like the valleys in Walking Dead were a little bit lower than they were in Invincible, where it felt like it was a little too slow and the characters were getting a little too confusing and a little bit too hard to read sometimes. And and a lot of that did have to do with the month to month.
How can you make, like, I mean, in a superhero comic, you can make somebody lose their powers, and now this person has powers, and this person, oh my god, this person's back, and they've been, you know what I mean? Like, it's a superhero comic book. When you're writing about, like, just people, like, literally living in a world where zombies exist, like, they did, I feel, everything that they could have done.
And you know what? And I think Kirkman even talked about it a little bit. Like, I feel like he never really phoned it in, but he was approaching the point in which he started to feel that way, which is why he stopped. You know what I mean? Like, he knew that he knew where he wanted to end it. He knew that as the world of The Walking Dead started to get more towards civilization and more towards being away from having to need the zombies in it, that it was going to approach its end. And so when it started to happen and it got to that point, he's like, oh shit, I got to end it.
Now I'm just writing about people living in a city. And
exactly,
like, this person got milk.
Which is why he got to that point sooner than he thought. He thought it was going to take a lot longer.
And that's fine. That's a natural progression for things. Like, zombies die and decompose, and the threat's not there anymore, and that's not what made it good. Like, the zombies aren't what made it good. That we all know why The Walking Dead was amazing. It was the character drama, but what drove certain characters to act a certain way was because of the lack of civilization. And now that civilization is there, the drama's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone.
But it shouldn't be, and that's.
And
actually
the
one
final
issue
had drama. I mean, that's showing that the drama is still there.
One issue that I had with the final issue was exactly what you just said, because I disagree with that. I mean, Kirkman clearly didn't, because that is how it ended, but I disagree that it should have ended that way, because they said even in the final issue, like, there's no more threat anymore, like, there's not many zombies around anymore. It's not like nobody's been bitten in a long time. Someone kept saying that. I think it was Maggie kept saying it to Rick in the final, not Rick, Carl in the final issue. Nobody's been bit. No one's getting bit. When was the last time you heard somebody get bit? And I'm like, getting bit by a zombie was never the overall arcing threat.
I remember that being a huge deal for the first 2050.
The more people, the more deaths. The more deaths, the more zombies. You don't have to get bitten to become a zombie. You die, you become a zombie.
Yeah.
So if there's more people, the threat is always there. And in the final issue, he kept saying, like, oh, the threat's not here anymore. We're growing civilization. The threat is always there. Did it just, like, leave the air? Did the virus just, like, stop being in people? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I think when someone dies, you just stab them in the head.
Yeah, that's what came up. Actually came up during the panel, too. Someone asked Kirkman, like, don't people still turn into zombies when they die? And Kirkman said, yeah, but just like with anything, they've learned that this is when people die, this is what we do now.
Sure, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, why were zombies so rare that they cost so much? I didn't like that. I didn't like that they were so rare.
Because you could
no one ever sees them.
You could just keep your grandma around.
Yeah. And sell her. Yeah. You know what I mean? Why are they so rare?
Because it's probably against the law. Like, it's
well,
probably
it wasn't.
like
that was the point. That at the end, she made it against the law.
Right.
But yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, how often do you see someone dead? You know what I mean? Like, it's or about to die. You know, like, they'd probably go to a hospital, and all the hospitals in this civilization now know this is what we do. This is just the way it is.
There was a point in the story where I felt like Kirkman was like, "Oh shit, I gotta hurry up." There was one issue, and it was all about Michonne. And
so Bill doesn't know this.
About?
I don't think.
Okay,
No, I was just about to say, like, the stuff that happened with Michonne, and she had some pretty cool life changes.
You can tell me. I'm assuming this involves her daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Because she did talk about that in the last
What I was going to say doesn't talk about.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I did love that.
But again, I knew she had...
I loved Princess. I liked her story, her character.
Princess, I feel, was Kirkman being like, you know what? I really like Harley Quinn. I want a character like her. I literally read her in Harley's voice. Like, she was so Harley.
Is Princess Michonne's daughter?
No.
Okay.
No, she's a different
she's
character.
Literally Harley Quinn.
Is Princess the girl that was on the cover with, like, a machine gun and like a miniskirt or something like that?
That's her.
No, that's Princess. Oh, sorry, I thought you said Michonne's daughter. That's Princess. Yeah, the pink. And, like, she's really crazy. She's
Isn't
kind of...
it weird that I didn't know what you were talking about, TJ, but I fucking knew.
Yeah, I knew who Princess was.
That was right around... I think that's the issue that I stopped reading.
Princess has been everywhere, though. I have an action figure of her, and I had never read her before.
I think I stopped reading right before that. Like, honestly, like, right before...
Really?
I feel like the next issue was that cover.
Yeah, that was leading up to the Commonwealth and everything like that.
I liked her, though. I thought she was a really, really good character. I thought I was going to hate her. But the issue that I was thinking of where I felt like Kirkman was like, fuck, I need to hurry up, was... the pacing was very normal. And then all of a sudden we get to this one issue where it's like, Michonne, what happened? In the very beginning, she got tangled up in something law-wise. What was it?
Oh, she was defending someone. She was defending, she was a personal attorney or public attorney.
That's right. They came, someone... What did they do? I cannot remember at all because it was a long time ago. It was
I forgot.
I don't know, but it kept jumping in time. It was like a week later, and then a week after that, and it made no sense. Like, why are they jumping? Like, what's going on with Rick right now? But like nothing had happened anywhere else, and it felt extremely rushed. Like. The whole town was against her because she was defending him when he was in the wrong, and then
that was during kind of the whole Rick and the governor touring all the different settlements and everything like that. That's when I did feel like it was kind of like
But it felt that whole issue.
Yeah.
It was like 2 issues. It was like an issue and a half that it kept pushing her forward. It felt extremely rushed. I didn't like that.
Interesting.
Do you think that because TJ, you just read this. Like, how long ago did you read that issue about Michonne?
Like a week ago.
Okay, a week ago.
Yeah.
Who did Michonne have chained to her the first time you meet her? Do you remember?
Who did she have chained to
When
her?
you get introduced to her, she has 2 zombies chained behind her. And
Wasn't like one her boyfriend?
Yeah, and
I don't remember the
I
other
think it was
one.
his best friend.
it was his best friend.
Okay.
How the fuck do you remember that shit, but you don't remember something you read a week ago?
Because we talk about that
because we've been talking about that for
We
10
don't
years.
ever talk about
well,
that.
no, but that's been in our mind. We read it several times. We talked about it.
It's
We
because
saw it in the
it's
show.
because it's more
There's a
impactful.
show,
It's
yeah.
because that's what I'm trying to say. Do you think, Ryan and TJ, now that you've read the entirety of this series and me almost, that it could have done without a major chunk?
I can ask you a question from that same issue that you brought up to me that I bet you wouldn't be able to answer.
Tell me. Ask me.
If I download it right now, I'll ask you. I can guarantee it. What I'm saying is that you're bringing up the most popular parts of the comic, the most iconic
I remember
parts
everything.
of the comic.
I remember everything about Michonne.
You really think so?
I absolutely do. I could literally replay every major moment that happens from issue 1 to fucking
major moment. That's my point.
But everything. Like, I can remember when fucking Carol died. Like, do you remember that shit?
Yeah, but you're saying that it wasn't impactful because I can't remember
And it's also
random guy who wasn't even a main character at all. He was literally just in this one issue.
Oh,
He
okay.
was only in like the first page of this first issue. He was nobody at all. But he had done something wrong to spark the town going against.
But when
Michonne.
you're paying a monthly subscription for something and every single time you make a payment should be something extremely entertaining, do you think that you could have gone without some of this Walking Dead? Do you think?
I could, yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
I could say the same for even.
I could say
Invincible, and I love
the same
Invincible.
thing for some
You can
things in
always-
the first half of the first 100 issues of Walking Dead.
I never in a million years thought that I would ever stop reading The Walking Dead. Ever in a million fucking years. With
Let me
where
give
I
you an
was.
example. I can pretty much name what happens in most single issues of Invincible. If you call out a number, I can probably tell you about what's going on. Can you remember what happened in issue 92?
I can't do
92-ish
numbers.
of Walking Dead.
I can't do numbers. I can't.
That's what I mean.
I
Isn't it
know.
impactful though? That doesn't mean it's not impactful.
Like, I
Well, I
love
don't know the numbers, but I'm
Like,
just saying.
and it's different per person too, because like I loved everything that happened in the prison in The Walking Dead, and Tyrese's daughter and her boyfriend. I don't remember their names.
Oh my god.
What were their names?
I don't remember.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
and those
the one
were,
guy had
and that
glasses.
was yes, and that was
He had
one of
glasses
those
and
the
they
most
shot each other.
Yeah, that was insane. That whole and then Tyrese freaking out and the fight between him and Rick.
My favorite part.
Yeah.
Favorite fucking.
Don't even remember their
favorite
names.
Fucking part. Favorite fucking part.
What about the guy and his 2 sons?
The guy and his 2 sons. The guy with the beard
Yeah.
and Billy and
Yeah, what was his name? He was a main character.
Alan.
Alan, you're right. See, I forgot that.
Alan.
I forgot that. That's what I mean.
See?
Like that's. It's
What's that baby doing?
How's that baby doing? Oh yeah, fucking Brian Regan.
weird.
But I mean,
other than that, anyways, like
There is something, Bill, that happens in the third to last issue that like.
that was the moment when I said
specifically-
that was the moment when I told Bill, I was like, you need
Yes.
to catch up, and that was before Rick even died. I was like, Bill, you need to catch up. Something happened that you would appreciate.
is this when Michonne makes a speech or something like that? Is
No.
it Michonne or is it Rick?
Michonne quotes Rick's speech,
Okay.
but the speech when he gives it was a really good speech, and that was part of the reason. Yeah.
Okay. Go on.
What were you gonna say, TJ?
What you said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but no. What did you think of Rick dying though, TJ?
I thought it was great. I understand why people may not like it, but I liked it
that
for
was
those
crazy,
reasons.
right?
I liked it for those reasons. Just a fucking.
Like the fact that Rick died in a world that was pretty much free from zombies, and
Yeah.
it was just some punk ass kid, like,
Yeah.
quick, over with, like.
Yeah.
I think that's humbling and
was so-
real life. I mean, we're all the main character in our own stories. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that does not mean
And
that
like-
we're gonna have an interesting end.
And like Rick said, like, what was he saying? Like as he's dying, he's like, "What did you do?" You know what I mean? Like that's crazy to me. Like he didn't. There wasn't. I mean, obviously, like the issue prior or earlier that issue was when he gave that big speech. You know what I mean? So he had that triumphant moment. So he got those kind of final words. But just him like dying and being like, "What did you do?"
If
Like
I had not known that he died, if I had not known that it was ending, and I read that, when Rick looked up and he was like, you don't want to do this. I'm like, I would have been like, oh, Rick's about to fuck this dude up.
Yeah.
And then he ended up dying. It would have been more impactful. So I understand why Kurt.
And not only that, but Carl showing up.
Yeah.
To go out for breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh.
And seeing him. Oh my gosh. The second to last issue where Carl's riding and then he gets off the horse and he says,
that's how it ends.
Andrea, I got to say goodbye to Andrea. She got to say goodbye to people. Everybody knew that she was on her way out, and everybody said their goodbyes. Everybody in the whole town of Alexandria came and saw her. He was so impactful to the world and changed the world, and no one got to say goodbye to him.
Yeah, yeah. It's so upsetting.
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts on the final issue? We've talked around our thoughts about it, but like
the whole zombie thing I brought up. But besides that, I mean, Carl's been a favorite character of mine in the comic.
I love that he's with Sophia.
That
was really cool.
Are they at Herschel's farm?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I like that he was with Sophia because, like, I did not expect that to happen after everything that happened with them in the arcs before, where Sophia was like, she liked him, and she was like kind of saying that she liked him. But Carl was still with Lydia. And she was like, I have nobody to have sex with, and he's like, what was his name? Ryan? I think his name was Ryan.
I don't think it was Ryan.
I thought it was Ryan.
I don't know.
Because this new kid came to town and they like started dating, and then you never hear anything about them at all ever again. Like she was kind of like seeing this guy, like she gave him a tour around the town and everything, and then the final issue, she's just he's fucking with Sophia. And Lydia's with somebody.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's got a daughter with Sophia.
Yeah.
Lydia has a husband. Yeah. She still has the hat.
One thing I didn't like about the last episode was...
Last issue
was he was in the town. He had everything... Or, I'm sorry, the second note. No, yeah, it was the last issue. Carl was in the town, and, he saw, Herschel... Junior,
Glenn's son, which is crazy to me.
Herschel.
And looked just like fucking Glenn.
Yep.
Yeah. But when Carl was in the town and had everything go on with, like, he killed the zombie and he had to go to trial, then it was this long journey back home after he killed all the zombies that were in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And the journey, to me, was just Kirkman's way of... You're going to meet some people on the way for nostalgia.
Of course. But his job also was really cool. I still like that he's a messenger.
But literally the second he got home, we got to go back. And then he was back there already. I'm like, I kind of felt... The police came and brought him right back to the town. But he had just gotten home, and it felt like...
what else did you want?
It felt to me like that journey was literally just for fan, gratification.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I liked how he worked it into it, though. It was cool. And what else was there? Michonne being the high judge, Maggie being president.
I liked how they kept calling her, calling the judge by her last name,
Hawthorne?
her maiden, or
was
not
it
maiden
Hawthorne?
name. Hawthorne, it was Judge Hawthorne. And you're like, who the fuck is this? And they kept like making it, and I'm like, this is gonna be some kind of reveal, but I was not expecting Michonne at all.
Yeah.
And then when Carl was there and he like smiled at her and she did not smile back.
And then you see his face he smiles and then she looks at him and then he like straightens up.
Yeah, like oh shit. But then she ends up agreeing and letting him go. And...
I liked
how this is a little thing and not like major but I like how instead of doing what lawfully was the right thing, he went back and just slaughtered all of them.
Yeah.
Like killed all of them. That's such a fucking Rick thing to do.
I was just about to say, it's a very Rick thing
to do. But you know what? It's also a very Carl thing to do because he's the one who, not to bring back the twins, but he fucking killed the twins. Mm-hmm. When he knew that they were an issue. Remember back then when they were like, they killed, or the one killed the other one?
His brother.
Yeah, he killed his brother to be like, now he's going to live forever. And Carl was like, we should probably do something about this. And Carl was like 8.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I
liked Eugene. I liked the whole connecting the West Coast.
Oh yeah, train, making the railroad, or something like that, right?
The railroad.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Maggie Michonne doing the speech. She was just quoting Rick's speech. And he had Michonne's sword. Did he have Michonne's sword previously? Like, was there ever a
No.
point where she gave it to
No.
him? I didn't think so.
She asks how it is, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
she? She's like, hey, are you taking care of it or something?
Well, when he said thanks for letting me go, I don't think it's right, whatever, and she's like, well, you did use my sword to kill that zombie. The reason why he was in on.
Oh my god.
Did you guys read? I'm sure you did. The
what
the ending, what it should have been. I
Yeah.
kind of like that more.
I like that too.
Definitely don't like that.
I like
Definitely
it.
don't like
It was
that.
super
liked
morbid.
So, well, we only had, like, otherwise, him reading the story to his daughter and it cutting through all of the different
we
people.
stop
You
for a
see
minute?
Jesus and everybody, yes.
Can we stop for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Him reading that story to his daughter
Yeah.
was the most gut-wrenching thing I have ever experienced in my entire life.
I thought it was
After-
kind of a boring children's story, though. As
Yeah,
I'm
if
reading,
you think
I'm like,
about it as a
how is
children's
this-
story, yeah. But
But he was reading
Especially-
the story that she knew very, very well because
Yes.
it's something that everybody knows, and it's just a story that we experienced from the beginning. Like, this was it was way more than just a tale that he was telling. Like, it was the ending of what brought us into new age, like what brought us back into comics. You know what I mean? And I felt like such a connection to this fucking part. Do you know what happened? Did Ryan tell you? Because I talked to Ryan the day that it happened because you weren't caught up at all. So so I read this issue and I instantly got in the shower and I started taking a shower. And Liz came in and she's like, yeah, are you okay? And I couldn't even speak. Like, I couldn't even speak. I'm like, yeah. So Kirkman, I guess, decided to end The Walking Dead. Like, and I couldn't, like, I was gonna bawl. Like, I was just weeping and I couldn't figure out why. And it was just,
I think it's one of the most beautiful things he's ever written. The ending. I
Yeah.
love the ending. And it's just so it's just
and she's
so
like,
good.
read it again. And it's just them
The
sitting
way
in a it's Carl and his daughter reading a story about his fucking father and how he brought the world back from extinction.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the most well-written things I think Kirkman has ever done. And it's amazing. Yeah.
But you guys understand, like, this is a piece of us as I don't want to say children, but as, like, young adults, just is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's gone. It ended, and then it made me think, like, how all things have to come to an end that you love, and it made me feel like this weird feeling of this, like, this finite thing in my life that I always thought was going to be there, and now it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah. It's closing a huge chapter. It's one of the very first things that, I mean, not only the three of us got into, but obviously something that opened the door to comics as far as, you know, not only Invincible, but even reading more Marvel comics. And that was just right around that time of all of us hanging out more and just, it was always there.
Imagine having a home that you built all these memories in from when you were as young as you can remember, and then until you moved out because you were too old to live there anymore. And then you go back to see it and it's fucking bulldozed over. Like, that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, The Walking Dead is always going to be there as a series, but there's just something about it ending, seeing Carl old, having him have a daughter. I don't know.
I was actually, and you know what? It's going to come up in one of the. I'll save it for feedback. So, a few things that was sent to us over on Twitter at RayRay1313 said, after the speech in 191, I had a sense something big was coming. Love that he left it hanging. Is a shot to the left of the chest really leaving it hanging? And then answered immediately in 192 with 3 more shots. No more questions. Wow that the character who is arguably Kirkman's greatest creation went out with a whimper. Shot in his sleep by a pathetic nobody. After letting that sink in, I'm pretty sure it was perfect. Going out in a blaze of glory, fighting the next big bad would be too cliche. Sad he's gone, but an amazing 190-plus issue ride with some of the best memories ever in comics. Rest in peace, Rick Grimes. We'll miss Walking Dead. Thought it would be reading that book for years to come. The end is aging well in the short term. Between Rick getting taken down by a nobody and the shock of 193, that was two jaw-dropping moments in 2 months, unforgettable. After ups and downs lately, ended on a high note. And then Alex Pritchett said, would love to know whether you guys liked The Walking Dead's ending better or Invincible. But before we answer that, Ben, over from the Nerds Chatting, said, The Walking Dead finale was everything I didn't realize I wanted from the final issue of the story. Loved that they fooled everyone. with a surprise ending. How do you think it compares to Invincible?
That's, I think, was like the most relevant question. I don't want to answer that first.
I'll answer it.
Yeah, so I can answer it too. I think Invincible's was much better.
I've always liked Invincible more as a comic. I think that The Walking Dead had a very, again, the scope is much smaller. It has to be. And one of the things I love most about Invincible, and we talked about this leading up to the end, everything like that, is all the tie-ins and connecting the dots and where did this go and where does this go and leaving all these threads. And that's so exciting to me with Invincible. And the finale did that in spades. But the finale also gave us Tara and her growing up and those badass moments. Mm-hmm. So that just did so much for me. But it's amazing to me that both of them ended so hopeful and positive and like heartfelt, and like you guys were talking about how the alternate ending that Kirkman had always thought it was going to be, as he got older, he decided that that's not the story he wanted to tell, and he wanted to end it on that more positive note. So it's crazy to think that like 4 or 5 years ago, if Invincible had ended, maybe that would have been a brutal, bloody ending that we all expected. Just like the ending that we would have expected for Walking Dead would have been kind of what he would have done. Mm-hmm. But it seems as though whether times have changed or he grew up, but it almost feels like I'm right there with him in a degree where that's what I wanted. I wanted this touching moment between Carl and his daughter. I wanted Mark and his daughter. You know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy to me that both of these comics end with a main character and their daughter. You know what I mean? And it's very hopeful, very positive, and I thought it was great. It's hard to say which one's better because they're so different, but there's a reason I do an Invincible podcast. You know what I mean? So right. I'd obviously pick that one, but,
I think that, both were great. I'm not saying, taking anything away from
That's the thing.
Walking
They're both
Dead.
10 out of 10s in my opinion.
They're
both incredible.
They are. What I liked about Invincible, though, is like kind of what you said, like where we get Angstrom's son coming in, and it's just one page.
Yeah.
We're continuing it.
We can talk about that for like an hour. It's so exciting.
Like we're continuing the story without continuing the story. But not only that, but like everything. So it's like moments like that, like Battle Beast, like getting a call back to his daughter.
The prophecy.
Or not his daughter, but yeah, the prophecy. And then like all those things continuing, but at the same time, like you want more. That makes you want more. But at the same time, he also kind of wrapped up a bunch of shit too. Like Kid Invincible, like everything that ended with him. Yeah, like it showed him and where the story would have went if Kirkman had continued doing it. Like,
but at the same time, we see that like that was a story of Mark becoming who he always thought his father was, which is beautiful and amazing that it led to that. But in the same sense, this is the same kind of story. Like this is Carl leading living in the world that his father always wanted for him and creating, which is also really cool.
The only difference between the two issues, which I appreciate because you can't have like the same kind of outline and like flow, is that Invincible was great because it showed so much progression in one issue with the time jumps with Tara and like what happened and just the fact that it was Ottley and Walker. Like
it wasn't just a slice of life in the future.
Yeah, there was so much going on in that one issue of progression, whereas this The Walking Dead was literally just one. It was like Marky's story. Like it was just the one story, and I think like maybe if like it could have been cool if the whole time Carl was reading the story, and it literally showed like maybe in like a different, more kid friendly centric way, like Rick waking up in the hospital. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what I mean. Like, but they're different, and I don't know. I would say that I was maybe a little bit more emotionally connected, and I think you're nodding, Ryan, but I think that you're going to be surprised by what I say, by The Walking Dead.
No, that's why I think you do. Okay, you literally have The Walking Dead tattooed on your body. Yeah. Like, The Walking Dead started something with you. Like, you talked about it. Yeah. Like, that is The Walking Dead had a bigger impact on your life.
Yeah.
You might like Invincible more at times, but The Walking Dead had a bigger impact on your life. So for it to end, and not only that, but Invincible was like, oh, we think it's going to end. Oh, it's going to end? It's going to end in a year and a half? Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah. I can emotionally prepare myself for this.
But The Walking Dead was like you said, your childhood home burned down without you getting to go in it again.
And the way that I think that I described it to maybe you or Liz or someone, because I hadn't read it for so long, was like, imagine you become estranged with a grandparent, you know what I mean, who was your whole life, and then you find out that they die, you know, which has happened. That's kind of what it felt like.
You kind of had to break up or something.
Yeah, it felt a lot like
falling
that.
out, and then you never got to make amends almost.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's the way that it's always kind of been. Where Invincible to me is like the most fun that you could have, like at a movie or something like that, and then The Walking Dead is like the most emotionally connected you could be to something. Like how. Like, let's say...
It's like The Road and Spider-Man. Like, they're very different movies.
Exactly. like let's say, the first Star Trek reboot. Like, Star Trek. You know what I mean? Holy shit, I saw that 5 times in theaters. Or Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're literally, I would compare them like that.
They're both 10s in your opinion, but they're different movies.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, right. I agree.
So the ending that Kirkman originally said that he had always had planned for the show was... to end it with the speech that he made during All Out War, where he's like, "This is Alexandria. Look at what we've built. Look how far we've come. We're going to continue to progress. We're going to continue to get better." And then the last page was going to be the statue of him that we see in the final issue was supposed to be there, and then it pans out more, and you see like, oh, time had gone by. There's bushes that are like decaying. It's obviously time has gone by, and then it pans out again, and you see Alexandria and how it's kind of overgrown a little bit, and the windows are broken, things are going out, and then it pans out again, and you see a zombie walking. Yeah. So basically, to say that like Rick succeeded in what he wanted to do. He created something, but in the end, it didn't matter.
It didn't last.
I love that ending. I know you don't like it, but like, I've always preferred
the tragic endings.
Yes,
and we've talked about that
as
the lead up to Invincible. We talked about that.
Like it's cool that like it ends with Carl and his daughter. It's so happy, and I'm not saying I don't like it, even though I'm kind of making fun of it. But, like, I would have preferred a tragic one. It's The Walking fucking Dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not really... Let's think about it, and we're going to get like... I'm going to get a little bit deeper than I think that we know. More philosophical, but...
We can always come back from like tragedy, and we can always...
I mean...
It's about family.
In the end, Ryan and TJ and myself, when you die, do you... I mean, you cease to exist, right? So your world ends. I mean, TJ, people of religious background believe that you go to heaven and continue to exist. But I'm talking about like the world that we live in, that you can see and touch. Like, I don't necessarily think that ending is tragic. I think that it's inevitable. Like, I think that it's that all things come to an end, like The Walking Dead, and like eventually this world that we live on is going to be ash. It's going to be nothing. Like, concrete eventually erodes to nothing. Like, civilizations that came before ended, and then something new came. So, I mean, just because zombies are what's left, I mean, doesn't necessarily mean that it's tragic. It just means that everybody fucking...
So what you're saying, going by what you're saying, that could still happen.
It will happen.
That's going to happen long after after Carl reading to his daughter.
Like, eventually, guess what? Herschel's farm is going to be dilapidated and nothing's going to be there because who lived there before is going to die, and then it's just going to slowly become nothing.
Even after skyscrapers are built and everything goes away, I mean, it all just goes to ash afterwards.
Yeah, and I think that could be considered quote-unquote morbid, but I mean, if you think about it, just everything has to come to an end, you know? And I think that ending, though, because we're reading it, sounds kind of sad, but I mean, a lot of time was supposed to pass. You know, they built a statue of Rick Grimes, and it was aged. So.
Oh yeah, they were older.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool if that happened, and then it started again with like people, like small groups trying to like rebuild to like this weird cycle. Yeah, like Mass Effect. You know what I mean? Like the Reapers come and end all.
Wipe it. And
wipe it all. Yeah.
Maybe after 500 years.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be disappointed with that ending if that happened.
Yeah. No, I'm very, very satisfied. We are going to wrap up. Any other thoughts on The Walking Dead? Because we're going to get into our rereader and then talk about the exact opposite and not be hopeful and talk about some crazy shit that happens in Invincible with Volume 12 still standing. Any other comments on Walking Dead? No?
I'm going to go back and read it for everybody who's curious. Like, I'm going to, you know.
I'm excited for you too.
Yeah.
I want to know what you think. Because it's still very good. It was good. And it's going to be exciting to read that and then get to the end. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Let's jump into some Invincible. This is Volume 12, still standing. This is issues 60 to 65. Not much happens in this one.
We could probably skip this one and still, like, not skip a beat.
Certainly no important characters die. All right. Issue 60. TJ, you want to take it?
Oh, am I taking it?
Take it.
Let's talk about the fucking massive cover.
This was a fold-out cover. Now, when they have it on digital, that's the thing with digital and the trades. Like, I want there to be a full page. Actually, in the back, I think there's a Ottley sketch of it. Like the full cover is awesome.
Yeah.
Is the only fold-out cover that Invincible ever had. Very cool. Lots of image characters in it. Lots of ones I don't know the names of.
No, issue 75.
75 didn't fold out, did it? It was just front and back.
I thought it fell.
Did it have a fold out?
I could have sworn it did.
Because
Because I picture the actual issue, and it's like the cover is a little short because it like folds out.
Yeah, maybe it did.
I think it did.
It was definitely a wraparound. Whether or not it folded out, we'll see. Go ahead, though.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Soon. So it's just in the entire Invincible universe and like basically Image universe.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So page 1, it takes us all the way back to issue 34.
30. Oh yeah, 34. Because I always think of it as 33. Because that's when it happened.
So it's the page of full page of Mark covered in blood, saying, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God." And I'm just noticing this now, but look at how far he's walked.
Oh yeah, never noticed the
footprints. Do you think that he's been saying "Oh God" the entire time that he's been walking?
Yes.
Okay.
He has super speed.
He's just like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God."
Well, think about it. He says it 6 times just on that page.
Yeah.
So it shows Angstrom just laying there, and his face is completely busted open and all over the ground.
Which we didn't see. This was the first time you see the actual
Previously,
aftermath.
you just see his feet.
Yeah.
And you never see
because they weren't that gory yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So now you're seeing everything, and his left arm, a portal opens up, and he kind of pulls himself through. And there's these creatures that we're seeing for the first time.
The engineers?
We know as the technicians?
Technicians.
Oh, yeah.
The technicians.
Oh, the engineers are from Prometheus. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
They help him and kind of fix him up. The very next page...
Whoa, wait. Can we just look at the bottom left-hand page of the third page?
Is that technician?
Where he looks really concerned, doesn't he?
A little bit.
Like, I didn't think that they were very, like, emotionally attached to Angstrom.
They know this guy. Mm-hmm. He said, hey, if I'm ever in need of your assistance, I need you to help me, and I'll help you. Because they made a bargain, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Very next page, it jumps to present day.
And it says months later.
So of all these alternate Invincibles, now that we can see
shows
more
all
of
these
them,
Invincibles, all these different Invincibles flying.
What are some costumes that you like?
My favorite one is...
Wait, I'm going to guess.
I have one picked out.
Okay. I have my favorite one.
It's just for some reason it's jumping
I think that it's everybody else's. The one with the full face mask on it. That looks like...
right under the main ones.
The blue one? Isn't there someone with a red full face mask too? Or a white? No. I'm sorry, a yellow full face mask?
No, I don't think so.
No? So it's the blue full face. Yeah, that's not mine.
And he has like a loose t-shirt on, like it's just kind of flowing, like if you look at it.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
the sleeves.
It is very different.
I like the one right above it, and it's almost Kid Invincible.
Oh my God, it is with the black stripe down.
It's the thicker black stripes. It doesn't. Kid Invincible doesn't have the dots.
Yeah, but the black. Yeah, the thick black outline of it.
Yep.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Wow.
I like the one that's kind of Omni-Man-esque. The red cape. So yeah, now day 1.
So Angstrom's there, and he's on his like speaker, and he's talking to all the Invincible that are flying around, and he says, "Attack! Make them hate Invincible," telling them to go to all the far reaches of the earth and just cause destruction.
Mm-hmm. This event, I mean, this was advertised as an entire comic book event in one issue.
Yep.
So that's why it's like day 1, day 2, day 3. Like it's very big. It was an oversized issue, and a lot happens very quickly.
I don't remember thinking, and for the record, these things that have comic book crossovers like Spawn, Invincible never showed up in Spawn ever. Like, so don't expect
He
to
did
like.
show up in like Savage Dragon and
Yeah.
like Fire Breather and Noble
Yeah,
Causes and stuff like that.
But these other things. Oh, and what happened in the actual Invincible universe did happen. So,
yes,
like the one panel. I mean, okay, so he's destroyed the prison, right where Wolfman's at.
that actually happens.
He's in London. Mm-hmm. He's in Russia. He's in
wherever Spawn is.
I think it's
him.
New York.
Mm.
Wherever
Fire
is that
Breathers.
Jersey? Is that because he's a Jersey Devil or something like that, right? No.
I don't know where Fire Breather
And then the fucking last panel is him.
Tech Jacket.
Yeah, his Tech Jacket fighting the
and
one.
again, that's the one that he's fighting in the
In
Tech Jacket series.
which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, and he kills him.
He kills him. Yeah. Yep. Fucking great part.
Right before that, Eve gets a page that Stronghold Penitentiary is being attacked, and that's when we see all the Invincibles attacking.
Oh my god.
It jumps around a lot.
It does.
It's very jarring.
I don't. Maybe we should just kind of pick out our favorite parts of this.
No, I think we should go through it.
I mean,
comic
I mean, he's fighting Mohawk Mark.
He's fighting this person. And
Who
then he's
ends up
fighting this person.
becoming kind of a bigger part in the story. But capes, not capes, but you know, they're not all capes, right?
Those are all capes incorporated. That
Kid
show up.
Thor.
Kid Thor's not part of Capes.
He's part of
not
Capes.
part of capes. Is he?
Yeah.
A part of
Is he
capes
really?
in this
Yes,
point?
remember it's actually told from his point of view. Remember, he's trying out, like he gets introduced to Knockout in the beginning of the first issue of Capes. He is him and Bolt are like the main characters in Capes, and then Kid Thor joins the Guardians.
Well, anyways,
I'm sorry if
they
there's
start,
a little bit of humming. We are going to turn the fan on. It is very hot in here, but it shouldn't.
I
be too
don't
loud.
think we're gonna lose any fans or listeners on this issue because we have a fan
We
on.
won't lose any fans. We'll just gain a fan.
Whoa!
Whoa! That was.
So Capes comes in and they're like, "Oh, look, another one." They look at Mark and they come after him to attack him because they think that he's another bad Invincible, and he's like, "Wait, hold on, like it's me."
Yeah. And then fucking Wolfman in the prison, which we see during his series. Powerplex zapping him. Very cool.
Did Powerplex really need to say soon?
Soon.
Why does that soon Invincible,
Soon.
but not today, but soon, maybe sometime soon.
Which is actually soon. It's next issue. It's very soon. Unlike someone else who keeps saying soon, and it never happens.
he kind of says it again in this one too.
He does say it soon. He says it soon in this volume.
He doesn't say it soon. He says,
I know. It's almost time.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
almost time.
But soon.
But also soon.
Reminds me of Triborg for some reason.
Oh yeah, it does. When? Soon. Why soon? Is it going to be soon?
I don't know, but it'll be soon.
Anyways.
So yeah, news report going through. We see multiple Invincibles. We got them attacking Eve, one attacking Oliver. They attacked the Pentagon, and Donald and Britt actually killed one of them. Now, the one that they killed, is that Flaxon?
Yeah.
So that's a Flaxon Invincible, right?
Yeah.
That armor or suit?
Maybe not from the Flaxon dimension that we know.
Oh, yeah.
But from
his dimension's dimension.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait.
His dimension probably has their own dimensions, right?
Well.
No, because that they would be our dimensions too.
Wait, do the Flaxons come from
Yeah.
a different dimension, or do they come from a different plane?
They came
think
from a
it's
different
dimension.
dimension. They say dimension.
So
Yeah.
are there multiple dimensions of Flaxons,
There
just
would
like
have
there's
there would
multiple
have to be
dimensions of Earth?
an infinite
We
amount
don't
of dimensions.
own another dimension. That's just another dimension that we cross over to. It's not like our dimension has its
I know.
dimensions.
No, I know, but say all these marks come from different versions of Earth, right?
Yeah,
Are there different versions of the Flaxon dimension?
I know.
Yes.
Because there's different. Why would there be?
Because there's different versions of Earth.
Yeah, but
so why
there's-
couldn't there be different versions of Flaxon? Because if they're on their Flaxon planet and they're like, whoa, we found
But
an
that's what I
infinite
mean.
amount of
Is
Flaxon dimensions.
It's not a planet that they're on in our dimension solar system.
No, it's a different.
Even
Mark-
time moved different in that dimension. I think it has to be a dimension. Or maybe, I like the idea of it just being on a different plane. And each dimension
says-
had their own set of planes of existence.
No, that's not fair. Because just because you're on Flaxon means that you can't have an alternate dimension
So then
of
this
your own.
mark that came from the Flaxon dimension in that Flaxon suit could have gone to the same place that Robot and Monster Girl go to.
don't believe so. I choose not to believe that. I choose to believe that there is a different Flaxon dimension in which mark is there for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, if you think... to your point, we don't own all the dimensions, right?
I
Earth
agree with
isn't
that.
the only... Like, you can be on you can be in a different... That's why there's infinite amount of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like,
multiverse.
Right. There's so many different, versions of every single dimension.
Yeah. So they did.
Cecil says to call everyone.
Yep, day 2. We get all the different image heroes. We see Mrs. Potts from Brit.
Popper. Mrs.
Popper Potts?
Popper Potts is...
Popper Potts is...
Marvel.
Yeah, her name's Popper.
Mrs. Popper.
Yeah, Mrs. Popper.
I called her Mrs. Potts.
Yeah, you did.
I meant Mrs. Popper.
I love her stupid face. I've been drinking orange juice all morning. It's great.
Yeah. Fighting ensues. There's your... I never noticed his sleeves. It's so cool looking.
It is cool. Like now,
it's like he's wearing like
a loose T-shirt.
He's wearing a what do you call him? People sleep in them.
Pajamas.
Onesie?
Is it like a onesie? But what are those? The blankets that people wear that they have sleeves on.
Snuggie.
It's like he's wearing a fucking snuggie.
No, don't. Now I don't like it as much.
I do like it. I like it even more.
Oh, snuggie, Mark.
No. My favorite Mark can't be called the Snuggie Mark.
Snuggie
Fuck
Mark.
God.
All right, yeah. More flashes of various Invincible heroes. We got Savage Dragon, Super Patriot, and what is that? Darkness? Wasn't that him? He had a video game.
Oh yeah, from
Witchblade.
Witchblade and the Darkness are from two
different Image comics.
Yep.
And this is the moment in which Eve actually gets hurt. We don't see how she gets hurt. It's just Mark flying away, taking her to the hospital, saying, "Hang on, Eve."
I think it was badass. This whole page started with whoever that guy is.
I forgot his name.
He's big.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Hulk character.
Yeah, he's a Hulk character, and he's like shoving his fingers in this Mark's eyes, and then the page
not Pitt,
ends.
is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is it Pitt?
Yeah. And then it ends with they were flying and then them falling. Yeah.
But you could see like the holes in his eyes. Like where his eyes were.
He's dead. Next page, what happens?
TJ, so I want you to take this, but first I want to ask, how do you read this page?
How do you read it? From right to left.
But do you read the top panel across all 4, or do you go here, 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 and then the next page?
The second one you
Do you read it as 2 pages?
No.
Like as one big page, or as 2 separate pages?
2 separate.
Really? So you read like this?
Yep.
I think it's meant to be... Is that right? I think that's wrong.
We'd have to find a connection.
You're right. It's right to left. Or left to right.
All the way across.
All the way across.
Minus
yes.
the last panel.
Yes.
That's half the page.
Yep.
I remember always being confused by that.
Yep.
And I think the only thing that they did to make it like, because a lot of comics is how they make your eye flow. I mean, I've seen a lot of those drawings. Is the words coming off, kind of breaking. Yeah. They almost look like hey, go like this. So yeah, go for it, TJ.
So we're getting some various fights, but then when you get to the page...
This is Darkwing disappearing as well.
Yeah.
This one little panel in issue 60 is going to be very important in the final issue of Invincible.
Yeah.
How funny is that?
So Darkwing pulls one of the Invincibles into the Shadowverse, and we presume that he's gone forever now. Then we get closer to the bottom of the page. And they're all there. All the heroes are there, and he's like, Rex is telling them, get out of here, like, leave. And they're like, we don't want to leave you. And he's like, no, just go. And one of the Invincibles has him by the throat. And he tells him, like, you're not going to make it out of this alive. You're out of batons.
I like how much this Invincible knows Rex.
About Rex, yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I never really made that connection.
I'm going to read it. And the Invincible says, that was a futile gesture, Rex. We're talking about letting them go. I'm going to pop your head off and then fly off to murder all 3 of them. What do you hope to accomplish against me? You're out of batons, even though they're called boomsticks because that's what we named them.
Yep.
And golf balls and whatever you kept in your pockets. Your wrist launcher is spent. You've got nothing, no way of attacking me. So tell me, how are you going to kill me? What are you going to charge and explode? And he says, my skeleton. So this
long
page,
debate about whether or not he can charge his skeleton.
this page here, I know the person that owns this page, and I want it so bad. I've reached
Yeah?
out to him twice asking. I literally offered him double what he paid for it, and he won't give it to me. But I do have.
That's impressive of him, though, to be that much
Yeah.
of a fan, too.
Yeah. But I do have the more important page, which is his actual death, where he explodes.
Yeah.
What if you trade? Would you trade?
No. No, I would not trade. I just want to have them both together. But again, like, this is the page that I like more, because not only does it have Rex's actual, like, official death, him exploding,
I'd like to
but
also
it has
point out.
other heroes on here dying.
I'd like to also point out that on the previous 2-page, all those small panels, in one of them, Bulletproof has a hand missing. That's all. Later on, you see that he's missing a hand, and you don't know when or how. And the only indication that we have is that he's missing part of his hand.
Oh my god, you're right. Interesting. Can Rex fucking charge his skeleton?
We've talked about this tons of times. You literally just mentioned it.
I think the way I headcanon it is that he charged the cybernetics that was in his hand, and it just caused his whole thing to explode. His whole skeleton to explode. Because was it that he couldn't charge organic matter?
Organic matter,
organic, yeah.
Nothing, yeah.
And that was when they first put the implants into his wrists. They showed, like, in the whole,
Right.
thing, which was right around the time that Kirkman wrote this issue. So I think he did it intentionally.
So
unless when he got his hand... Wait, he got his hand bit off. So they would have to make entirely new cybernetics.
Because he has a launcher,
Yes.
right? So it's something that shoots out already charged
Yeah.
items, but then he can also charge in his other hand.
Yeah.
Right, maybe?
Yeah.
So
maybe the new one that they installed doesn't
has
have those
like
blocks.
cables and stuff.
Well, not only that, but it doesn't have the blocks that you can't charge organic.
Maybe.
So maybe
I think that's a question for Kirkman.
that is a good question for Kirkman.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so far down the rabbit
But it's
hole
expected.
now.
If we're all standing there like in a row, like you, me, and TJ, we're like, we have a question for you, Robert.
He's like, oh fuck.
He's like, oh, here we go.
He's good at making shit up on the spot, though.
He
He is. He would fucking create this whole backstory.
He would. I think I have a question for Kirkman. I don't know if I'm going to ask you because I feel like the question I wanted to be Oblivion Song.
Are the three of us going to go up right behind each other at the panel and ask a question
that'd be
each?
funny.
Are each of us going to ask?
They have to be like
is it gonna be like
crazy, stupid,
This is going to be like a
specific.
3-parter question where we
Yeah.
ask the same question 3 times.
One thing I kind of want to ask is, I don't think I'm going to end up asking this question, but I think it would be a good question, is when he ended The Walking Dead, he said that the ending changed multiple times for him. And over the years, it would change and then change again and then change again. With it being years later after Invincible ended, would he change anything? And I feel like the typical answer would be like, no, I'm happy with how it ended.
Yeah.
But Kirkman, I feel, would be honest if he really felt that way.
Yeah.
He would tell us, no, honestly, I would change this and I would change that. I really do think that he would tell us.
I can't imagine what else he would change in that. And also, I don't know if he would
That's what
answer
I'm curious.
because some of the things he would change, he might still do
Yeah.
Maybe.
if he writes something else.
I feel like that's if you want if you want a question to be answered, I feel like that's not a great question.
Kirkman
to
would
ask.
answer that question, though.
Yeah, but I think that anybody would change their mind.
Kirkman is not. Then he would tell us. Then
Like,
he,
do
then he would
I
change
do
his mind.
I feel like I should have changed like being friends with you? Yeah,
Me
like
too.
probably
Man, missed
like
opportunities.
5 or 6. Huh? What?
Missed
So-
opportunities.
Yeah.
So, while we're kind of talking about New York Comic Con, we have one more episode of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the episode after that, we're going to be recording live from New York.
That's awesome.
It's Saturday night.
It's Saturday, and then we go into a whole episode of Saturday Night Live. No.
I'm from New York.
We should do a
Saturday
video
night.
one, and then it should just be the intro should be the music, but like a montage, like where we're like eating cheeseburgers, like at midnight and shit.
I almost feel like because we release a new episode of Invincible the first Friday
Of every month.
of every month. I almost
And that's
feel
going
like
to be the Friday after that Thursday, which the Thursday night is the first night
should
of Comic
record
Con.
in New York City. Hey,
We're going
Kirkman,
to- that's what I'm
You
saying.
should fucking be.
No, we're going to
On our
record Thursday
podcast.
night.
That's a
Dude,
great
we're
idea.
recording.
We should fucking
I
invite.
plan on bringing a mic. We're going to record Thursday night.
Kirkman's not going to be on it.
No, but we're going to record Thursday night. Either way, it'll be fun.
Totally.
So yeah, start thinking of questions. I think I have one written down in my phone, but I honestly don't remember what it was. So anytime I think of one,
Remember
I'm trying
how
to write
hard
it
it
down.
was to come up with questions for
Remember
like
we only had
Ottley?
24 hours
Yeah.
for,
I'm
for
just-
Kirkman, I mean.
For Kirkman, yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, I forgot we actually did talk to
We
him.
actually did talk to him.
This is such a fucking
So this is one of the most
awesome
iconic
two-page.
two-page spreads, I think, of the entire series.
I love this
It's
page.
incredible. I love it.
Oh, maybe the one Invincible you were thinking of was the Black Mask
Hey,
one.
we should tell them what
The
we're
far
looking
right.
at.
All right.
No.
So
but-
we're looking
Well,
at the two-page
the
spread
page
where
that-
there's like 4 Invincibles per page, and it's them looking over the city that they've fucking demolished.
There's 8 of them total, and they're each over a major city
Yep.
or a major landmark.
So cool.
It is very cool.
Fucking Ottley at his best, man. This whole arc.
And then you get Angstrom like completely.
Phase 1's complete.
Yeah.
He says that come to me. I wanna
Come to me.
yep. I want you to bring me Invincible. And they all refuse. They're like, how about we don't?
Your
you
plan
lead us
failed.
down.
Like it, not
Yep.
failed, but you completely diminished our
You weeded
army.
us down to 8. Like half of them
There's only
died.
8 of us left. There were tons of us here, and you were supposed to do the exact opposite. You promised us that you would make our army bigger, and I think that we're not going to follow you anymore. And he goes, how disappointing, and immediately puts them all into an alternate dimension.
The desert
back in
dimension.
the desert.
Yeah.
So this is the next day, right? Didn't it say? Yeah, it's at day 3 when they're all standing there.
Yeah.
So Mark, Bulletproof, and Oliver see this as an opportunity to attack. Mark is freaking out, saying like, "How are you still alive? What happened? How did you know?" Which also, by the way, Bulletproof is missing the hand.
Right.
It is
it's all
bandaged up.
Yeah. How have I never noticed that before?
And then like it's super subtle in the background, upcoming, like he's getting it repaired, and it's just replaced.
Crazy.
That's it. That's what I mean. This issue is so dense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Mark fights Angstrom, and he goes on to like have him choked up against the ground, and he's saying like, "You've caused the death of thousands," blah blah blah, and Oliver interrupts him, and he's like, "Kill him! What are you doing? Why are you hesitating? We talked about this. Like, how many more people is he going to kill? If you would have killed them the first time, you know what I mean?" And so Mark looks at him, and has that great moment where it cuts back, and he's like, "All right, Angstrom, I'm sorry, but you gave me no choice." And but Angstrom manages to fall through another dimension portal, and Mark tries pulling him back out, and
So this right
cuts
here
his hand off.
would have been an opportune moment for
Angstrom
Angstrom
to
to close
close
the
the-
gate, because Invincible is halfway through the portal. Literally half his body is there.
Think about how quick it happens, though, because
Yeah.
Mark pulls him out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm just saying he missed an opportunity.
Mark, Angstrom's whole body is
through.
in that other dimension, but
Mark
you turn
starts
the
to pull
page,
him out.
and his whole hand is out. So
Yeah.
he must have pulled him out really fast.
Yeah. So Angstrom's arm gets
Because
chopped
you know what?
off.
And you know what? That makes sense. He probably tried to chop him in half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mark is so fast
That's
that he
what I'm
cut his
saying.
own
Yeah.
hand off.
Yeah. So Angstrom cut his hand off by closing the gate. And he's back with the technicians, and he says, "I need you to patch me up."
How many hands do you think are chopped off in this series?
Oh my gosh.
Chopped off?
Well,
Just
lost.
Destroyed hands. Lost hands.
So Bulletproof.
That we see?
Angstrom, Rexplode
Total.
gets one chopped off.
Like we know
Do
Conquest.
mechanical arms
Yeah,
count?
Conquest loses a
Yeah.
hand. Conquest loses a hand.
A mechanical hand.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened to his original one.
But we see it actually getting torn off by Ragnar, I think.
Oh, true.
Either
True.
way, I think there's a lot of hand dismemberment.
So
So yeah,
we have the technicians, because he says, "Oh, we got to hurry back and do other things," and then the technicians are like, "Nah, brah." He's like, "You've made us promises. Now you work for us."
Yep.
So
day 4, I love seeing this.
Whoa, wait.
Go ahead.
Not to get off topic, because I know that we still have a lot of comic to do, but the technicians were what Mark came back to, or no, what Nolan came back to.
Nolan.
Mhm.
We saw.
It was like
We saw the end of the
the end
war,
of it.
130,
Right.
129 or 130.
and it was the technicians.
Yep.
And we always wondered, like, did Rex orchestrate that because he knew that the technicians were in that dimension? Remember, because he killed
Yes,
Angstrom.
yeah.
Or did the technicians just know of that dimension and that was
Yeah.
part of their
Because
conquest?
we see them again. This
see
isn't
them?
the last we see before the end. Yep. Because Angstrom comes back, and they make the deal with Angstrom.
Oh,
and we'll talk about that then.
Yeah.
What I love about this second to last page, this day 4 page, is anytime it's kind of like in a TV show or something like that, where it's like one of the things I like about Invincible, whereas anytime you go to a new location, a lot of the time there's the location panel. I don't know what it's called in comics or whatever, but usually the first panel is like, here's the outside of the house. You know what I mean? Just like in a sitcom, it's like, here's the outside of the Full House. You know what I mean?
Where the Family Guy.
This is where the scene's going to take place. And these are all those panels that we see when they happen. There's the prison. That's the exact same prison angle. And there's the parking in rear from the Pentagon. But it's them all destroyed and covered in blood.
Covered in blood, like smeared everywhere. It's so fucking brutal.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, Ottley just flicked
it, little paintbrush of, and then the last page.
Yep.
Where Mark is just looking at the city, and it's just fucking demolished.
How fucking long did it take him to draw this page? Like all that. I'm sure there's a lot more pages that it took him much longer, but like. So much detail and like the destruction and everything like sticking out, like little things like little cars that you see way down there that are in the.
And it ends the way it began.
Yeah.
I'm saying, "My God."
Oh yeah.
As opposed to, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God."
Issue 2. Damn, this is gonna be a long episode.
No, because some of these go quick.
This is gonna fly, and we talk about Conquest every day.
That was a very dense issue, and it was a very long issue.
The third issue of this, I will say, is the quickest issue read that I think there might be, and it's also
99 might be quicker. They're all full pages.
They are all full pages, but there's a lot of text. Yeah,
you're right. Dumb. All right, 61. Cool cover. Conquest just charging at him. Very mysterious. A lot of bodies in the rubble.
Who?
I mean, someone. It starts with the news report saying that, talking about the destruction worldwide and that the Red Cross needs help, needs volunteers. Talks about how Invincible was to blame. One guy said, yeah, it was definitely Invincible. Savage Dragon's like, this is absurd. This is bad reporting. I know Invincible. He was there fighting. If you review the footage, you'll know he was out there helping us. I turn the page and it's Mark at Eve's bedside in the hospital.
Oh, one thing we didn't bring up that I liked that I'm going to go back to is when things first hit the fan. Hit the fan.
Oh.
We have a fan on. The news reported that... Oh, wait, no. Never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay.
I'll bring it up later.
All right.
Clairvoyance in the background of this page. Sorry, I'm getting ahead.
Really?
I know so much. Yeah, clairvoyant.
Oh, she is.
Yep.
You know things now.
I do know things.
Mark is saying, sorry, Eve, but I got to go. They need me to help the repair.
Yep.
There's so much to be done. Cecil shows up, and he assures Mark that Eve is safe there. And they go through the portal, and you can see a 2-page spread of several heroes all throughout the Image universe helping clean up. And we see a lot of the Capes team, Youngblood. I don't know who the robot guy is with the wings, but he's cool looking. But you're right. Clairvoyant is over there.
Yeah.
Who's on the bottom right with a baby?
I don't know.
That's not like Knockout or something. No.
She is from... She might be Youngblood. I'm not sure,
she's got to be.
She has a baby with her?
She's saving one.
I don't think she's just walking around with the baby. Powerplex attacks out of nowhere, saying, I can't believe you showed your face after what you've done. Go for it.
Here's what makes Powerplex a great character, is how consistent his character is in the fact that every emotion that he shows is kind of justified.
Yeah.
Everything that he does.
And I love that he was helping the heroes a minute ago.
He was helping them clean up.
Yeah.
And
he was? Where?
Yeah, he was helping them clean up.
They
say, what was he doing here?
He was helping us. He's not a superhero.
He looks like a superhero. What do you want me to do? Like, he looks like a superhero, and he was helping us, so how am I supposed to know? But he sees Invincible and starts attacking him. Was like, how can you show your face here after everything you've done? And that's all he knows, is that there were Invincibles destroying the world. So, I mean, if it really was Invincible, then
Yeah.
he would be justified.
So Mark gets other heroes to help pin him down, hold him. He uses up all his energy, and he goes on freaking out, saying, "Why would you help him after everything he's done? Look around. This is his fault. He caused it. He has to be stopped." And he gets dragged through the portal, saying, like, this is all his fault. And Oliver's like, "Don't listen to him." And this is obviously going to play a big part on Mark's state of mind. Then we see Mark back at Eve's bedside talking about how inspiring it is to see all the heroes working together to repair everything and hoping that she wakes up soon. And then he talks about how he believes that it is his fault and that it is all a direct result of everything that he's done. Eve's parents show up. Eve's mom is very morbid to him. She talks about how Eve grew up with this girl. They had a falling out, she moved somewhere, I forgot, but she's dead now. She died. And it's like, wow, sorry. And she's like, and yet our girl is alive, and how it's not fair, and blah, but yeah.
Here it is.
There it is.
Here it fucking is.
Soon.
So they're
soon. I need a soon.
Firefighters are going through, or firefighters or some kind of construction workers maybe are going through like the caves, like underneath this broken down building, looking for people to save.
Livingston's apartment? Yeah, it's Russ Livingston's apartment.
Okay, yeah. So he goes down there, and they find him down there, filled up with sequids. They're all over the place.
Sequids?
Sequids.
Yeah.
Sequids. The sequids.
Is that you're changing the emphasis?
The sequids.
After all this time?
After all these years.
Okay, all right. So it's sequids. It's sequids now, everybody.
And he says, "I need a new place to live, a bigger place. Will you help me find it?"
Soon.
Actually, that wasn't the moment.
No?
No, it comes.
There's another one?
Not with him.
Oh.
But it comes later.
So we get Immortal and Duplicate, and then they're all like, my head's back on. Fucking Bulletproof has a hand. And
there you go. It's him getting his new hand. And that's it. That's all you see.
Him in the background.
You could have never known he missed a hand. You did it. You never knew.
I never knew.
He lost a hand and got it repaired.
What the fuck is Bulletproof doing in the background? Like, just holding his hand
Just
up?
holding his wrist.
All right.
This is also when Immortal says that he's not coming back to the team and that his wife wants to start a family. So that's it. I love these 2 pages. I love these 2 pages. Not only do I love the artwork in it, because this is one of my favorite looking robots.
It is with Russ Livingston later.
Is it?
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite looking robots. This is like peak Skull robot. Like his face is
big jaw.
Huge jaw, really deep eyes. I love it. But this is also when they kind of like, there's that moment, that pause where they can kind of talk. And it's Robot, Invincible, Britt, Black Samson, Donald, and Cecil's talking to him saying like, okay, we need a team now. The villains of the world aren't going to give us a break. We need somebody to, help us defend. And Robot says, Bulletproof's new hand is complete. He wasn't injured otherwise. He'll join. I'm currently in the hospital with Monster Girl, and the doctors tell me they're optimistic she'll make a recovery. And then Mark says, what about Rex Blode? Robot says, Rex is dead. And Mark just looks to the side. And then Cecil's like, no time for that. We need to do, just how quickly it's just thrown out there. Like, Mark had no idea Rex died. And that's just how he found out. Cecil offers leadership of the team to Mark. Mark refuses. He doesn't want to work with him. He'll help if they need him, but he doesn't want any part of this. And so he puts Britt in charge of the Guardians of the Globe. And that's it. Mark is helping clear rubble. He sees another body. And Mark is clearly having a very hard time, especially it's a redhead that they pull out of the rubble. So that's probably like, yeah. And
he's
so
got his head down, and he hears someone say, "Stand ready for my arrival, worm." And there is our first look, full page spread of Conquest.
Saying that I'm here to, I'm charged with the eventual takeover, or you're charged with it. I'm here to make sure that you've progressed. If not, I will take over. And if you oppose me, I will kill you. Yep. Mark says this isn't a good time. And Cecil, Conquest is like, I don't think you understand me. They sent me specifically. Yeah. I'm Conquest. I don't fail. Like, you will not
failed a single planet.
Yeah, you will not survive this.
I've overturned every single planet, just regardless of how strong it's been.
Yep. I think this is worth reading the whole thing. Mark says, maybe you don't understand. I have caused all the destruction you see around you. The lives lost are a direct result of my actions. I can't describe the guilt, shame, and most importantly, anger that I feel right now. All I have thought about, the only thing I have wanted since all of this has happened, was something to hit as hard as I can.
And he says very well.
Conquest says very well, and they charge at each other.
Iconic page.
Oh my god. You've said iconic like 8 times, just so you know.
This
volume.
entire
And then every page
volume,
is like, and then the iconic page.
I've got,
every question we've ever asked somebody is, what's your favorite part of Invincible?
Minus Conquest.
It's Conquest. It's Conquest.
Yeah,
it's
course.
always Conquest because it is the most iconic story arc in Invincible, I think.
pause for a second. Mike Barrett sent us an email.
Because he owns that page.
Yep. He says, hope all is well. Although I haven't written in a while, I've remained a loyal listener. Keep up the great work. Which is crazy.
That
Mike
is crazy.
Barrett was our first guest.
Yeah.
Episode 10.
Mm-hmm.
We are on episode 75.
I thought he fell off of our, I don't know, he's been,
Oh, he's still listening.
that's good. That's
He
good
says,
to know.
I know you guys are big art collectors, and each of your individual art collections have grown a lot since starting this podcast. As you know, I'm lucky enough to own my single favorite original art of page from Invincible, and it just so happens to be the beginning of the Invincible vs. Conquest fight, which is the page, the last page of this issue, the page of them charging at each other. Mark. Mike asks, if you could choose one art page from this epic battle, which would you choose and why? Love, Mike Barrett. So, as we go on through this fight scene, think about that.
I mean, I can.
And which page you would want.
All right, so
Not talking
we're
covers.
excluding color.
Yes,
covers.
I know you'd want that
Yeah,
cover,
I
TJ.
really do want it.
So let's just as we go. I will say, I think I know which one it is, but honestly, I love the one that Mike has.
Yeah, that's awesome. It
That
is a really
it
good
really
page.
is. And what's amazing about it is that we've seen, other versions of this kind of with the Thrag and Battle Beast and the Mark and the Robot. You know what I mean? Like those really cool splash pages with 2 small figures. So right now, I'm going to say that one until something passes.
Until every page
So,
is my new favorite.
yeah.
I definitely know mine. It's not that one.
All right, so 62, the two of them crashing together. Now it's this page. No. So they collide, krakoom, and you see them as this small speck.
There's a guy flying in the air because of the shockwave.
The shockwave from this.
Oh my gosh. And yet another building.
And another building tumbles. Conquest goes on to say, right now, Anissa would be telling you about how the Viltrum Empire would turn this planet into a utopia. I will tell you no such thing. I'm here because I enjoy this. I've longed to drench my fists in blood. And then Mark punches them. And Conquest is like, ha, you're getting there. So a lot of this issue is just Conquest just being real sadistic and like just picking on Mark. They fly into a building. This building crumbles. Conquest lifts the rubble, shouting, more, I want more.
So Mark, for what I love about Conquest is that it starts where you like, okay, this guy's strong. But then Mark is showing the upper hand where he's just punching him higher and higher and higher into the atmosphere.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, okay, Mark's
in space.
fucking this guy up, right? And then Conquest.
God, this look right here. Conquest
Yeah,
just kind of
like-
looks at him, and you see it in Mark's expression, like, fuck.
Oh no.
And then Conquest like tackles him right back down to earth.
It's kind of the same look that Tony Stark has after he punched Hulk a bunch. You know what I mean? And then Hulk was mad at him.
I always find it interesting how colors change in space. I guess that's a question for the colorist. Like, if we talk to a colorist, or for one of the Invincible colorists.
There's been multiple colorists.
Yeah, but I want to talk to a colorist at New York Comic Con this year, and like someone that's worked on Invincible or something. But like right now in space, Conquest's hand is silver. When he enters Earth's atmosphere, it's gold. I don't know. I just find that interesting. And you know how we always talk about
Alan
being
purple.
purplish
Yeah.
in space and pinkish or orangish.
And orange, yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, he goes to slam Mark back down to Earth, and Conquest just says enough games, punches Mark in the eye, shattering
That looks
it.
like it fucking hurt.
Like it looks like one of those slow-mo videos of someone getting punched in the face,
like. Yeah.
and you just see all the ripples on his face. Ugh. And then this is the page I own.
You own, yeah.
Mark falling and then being like, oh, Jesus, ouch. Like,
Oliver's going to help.
oh my God.
He's
All of
almost
this.
there, and he can't keep up with them. They're too fast. I love this. I love Mark getting thrown through this
Oh,
building,
that's
or punched
so
through this building, and then it's the same building, but now it's falling, and Conquest has flown through it, and is just like so happy looking. He's just grinning,
barreling toward Invincible. He's carrying smoke with him. He's going so fast. He gets right up to Invincible, and Invincible says, "Stop! Listen to me. Just listen." And Conquest goes, "Are you crazy?" And then starts
you think I'm going
beating
to
the
stop?
shit out of him and says, "You think I'm going to give you a chance to surrender? Then I have to stop." No,
I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah.
Come on, keep going. When I'm done with you, I'm going to kill everyone else.
Kid Omni-Man shows up and says, "Big ass beat down coming up."
Big ass beat down. Oh my gosh!
Conquest,
I always
of course,
fear
is not bothered by it.
like Mark, who's like so scared for him, constantly tell him to get out of here. He will kill you, and Mark literally throws him out of the way.
Yep.
Mark says, "Where's your Viltrumite heart? Until I see it beating in my hand, I will not believe you have it. Show me your power. Show me your rage."
Conquest says that.
Sorry, Conquest says that.
And he fucking headbutts him.
Oh my god!
Look at the blood and the rage in his eyes. It's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And then him going for another punch.
He goes nuts on him, and then he catches his punch.
Mm-hmm.
If that is all the strength you possess, this is not going to end well for you. And this issue ends with Cecil running through the Pentagon to D.A. Sinclair saying, "Report in, tell me you can get one of these operational." And you see that D.A. Sinclair has gone on to try and retrofit the Invincibles from the another dimension as Reanimen.
Yep.
Reanivincibles.
He says he can't.
Revincibles?
No.
Reanivincibles.
Reanimals.
Reanimables? Reanimals.
No. Cover of issue 63.
Cecil says, "God help us all," because he cannot get them done in time.
Yeah. Cover of 63 I've talked about is my favorite cover of the series.
It's so gross.
And it's just Invincible, broken,
second
bloody on the
grossest
floor.
cover in the entire series.
What's the first grossest cover?
The one
120.
The one with Thrag and his eye slit.
Oh yeah, because his bed.
And there's like part of his head is.
I love this though. His broken bones sticking out of his arm, both sides of his arm.
Mm.
Yeah, I love this cover.
So it starts with Eve waking up in the hospital
to the news report,
and she's like, "Oh my god, I have to help Mark."
They actually say on the news report that
it's his father.
That Mark is fighting his father again.
It's been confirmed that it's we know who it is now. It's Mark's it's Invincible's father, Omni-Man.
And that's what Eve's mom says. "Oh, it's that boy Invincible. He's fighting his dad again."
And she immediately gets up and with her powers and says, "I have to help him this time. I have to be there."
This is when her parents figure out that Invincible is Mark too.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Your boyfriend?" And then she's like, "Oh shit."
She tells the doctor to get Cecil, and she looks up at the TV and says, "I'm coming, Mark." Meanwhile, Mark is still getting the shit kicked out of him.
The fight choreography in this comic book. It's a comic book, and you can see it so clearly.
Right, these next few
grabbing
pages,
him by the arm and just like slamming him down. There's his whole body. Like, it's crazy. The choreography is. It's crazy how clearly you can see it in a comic book.
Yeah,
we talk about how great it is in Wolfman, but it's really, really, really good and choreographed in all of Conquest.
Yep, Conquest is talking about how he's just been playing with him, getting to know the new toy, but and this whole thing has been far too easy. He talks about his father. He never spent much time with him, but I knew him when he was younger. He showed so much promise. Now he's dead. I heard his execution has been ordered. And Oliver shows up again. "Eat one, you old sack of turds."
But look at the look in his face, like trying to help Invincible up. He's like, "Come on, hurry! Like, you can't fight him alone.
Mm-hmm.
He's old as dirt. We can take him down together." And he's like,
God.
"Why did you come back?" He's like, "You got to get out of there. You got to,
This page, man.
I remember reading this. I thought for sure he was going to die. I thought for sure he was. He came back again. I was like, "Oh, he's." And then this moment, like, Conquest picks him up and
this is what I'm talking about.
Has one arm on his ankles,
he
the other
his,
arm on his left.
He breaks his jaw. Then he breaks his bone, like his shoulder. It pops out. Yeah, and then he goes to stretch him, and he says, "Do you feel?"
He's about to rip him in half.
"Do you feel your body starting to rip apart? starts with your vertebrae separating. Then you feel your muscles starting to stretch. If you're able to focus through the pain, you'll feel your skin pulled to its breaking point. This is going to be amazing.
He's so fucking sick.
And then Mark, no. And then
towards him,
stopping
stops him.
Conquest. And then you see Oliver just doubled over, like holding himself. Like, Cecil shows up and gets Oliver out of there. And we then see Eve going up to Cecil saying that you have to get me there. And Cecil explains how it's difficult getting, because they're flying so fast. And Eve's like, you have to do it. Just try it. I can hold him down with my force field. Now this might be, if I can own a 2-page spread.
Wait. I like how Conquest is skipping
Mark across like a
the
stone.
water. He's like literally like a stone.
And then look behind you when he smashes through
These
a fucking
2 pages
destroyer.
are insane. He goes through through a destroyer, and then you see close-ups of Mark's face as it gets a little bit closer on his face, as you see like him going through water and sand, and then you see him going through the jungle, and then you see him going through buildings, and then you see him going through rocks, and then when you turn the page, you see the path that he has gone. There's the destroyer, there's the water and the sand, and then the buildings, and then the rocks from the mountain that he's now up against. Like,
smart.
So smart.
So smart.
So cool. Mark punches Conquest, and he hits a shield.
Oh my god. So crazy. And when he sees Eve there, he's like, oh god, no. Like
it's not even, there isn't even
a feeling of loss that he had to have felt right away knowing that Eve's gonna die.
There isn't even that moment of like, oh god, it's Eve's here, she can help. Like, there's no positive, there's nothing. It's just, please,
this
no.
This is another reason why I like reading the panel to panel. Like, what is that?
Yep.
And then the reveal.
Right.
Like,
Eve gets there looking badass, by the way. I love
that's
how
awesome.
good she looks right there.
So mad. Look at her. She's ready.
You're not Omni-Man.
Too bad for you.
She lasts 1 page. 1 page. Mark says, get out of here now. And then Conquest
breaks his fucking leg.
Yep. You see the bone coming out. He bends his knee. Is he bending his knee backwards? Or no, it's not.
Oh, no, because that's his calf.
Yeah, it's
so
going...
that's his knee coming out of his knee.
Out the front of his knee, yeah. He says, you really are pathetic. So concerned for others' safety. Eve puts a bubble around him. Conquest says, you've got problems of your own, kitten. And claps the bubble,
like it's nothing.
Force field, like it's nothing.
Punches her in the face.
And then
breaks her face.
Viltrumite punches right through her chest.
And the size of his hand. Like
Look at the color. The color is so good, FCO, man.
And just
so shiny.
And the close up of his mouth of him smiling, saying, "Yes, so pretty." So disturbing.
She falls.
And like he pulls her off his arm and she falls. Mark catches her. And we've talked about this moment before too. Never before in this comic do we get this glow. Like, see this glow behind them? Like,
not to mention the speech bubbles are yellow.
The speech bubbles are, you're right. The speech bubbles are yellow. It's like everything just like quiets, and it's so, please Eve, please, I can't do this without you. I can't live without you. And then her trying to talk, him saying, don't talk, save your strength. If Cecil's watching, he'll send help. Just please keep breathing. And then...
This is very Crime Alley. The lighting and everything, how dark it is.
So it's kind of like a spotlight on him.
Yeah.
Conquest says she must have cared for you. Surely she wasn't stupid enough to think she could actually hurt me. She must have all done this all for you. I'm beginning to understand your affinity for these creatures. God, he says delicious. He's so gross. He's so... Conquest says, not long now, eh? If you've got anything important to tell her, better get it off your chest.
And then this
2-page headshot spread
of just Conquest and what he's saying. He says, I should do this now. Don't know when I'll get the chance again. I want to thank you, Mark Grayson, Invincible. Really, from the bottom of my heart. It's not very often that I get to cut loose like this. I mean really cut loose, like I have here. Usually, there are so many mission parameters. Don't destroy this, keep this person alive, but not here, not with this planet. For whatever reason, I don't really care why. To be honest, I was told, take control, no matter what it takes. Take control of the planet. So whatever you did to piss us off, thank you. This has been fun. You turn the page, and then Mark looks up at him with Eve, pretty much dead body in his arms.
Well, I mean, Conquest says dead, good. So that's what we think.
And he says,
Yeah.
I take it I have your full attention now. Close up on Mark.
He says, I don't care how... Mark says, I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you are. I can see the future. You don't live to see tomorrow.
And then
Whoa,
close the page and wait a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, it was probably
Which
like
we
4
did,
months.
and it was fucking terrible.
So, if I could own a page, this would probably be the second page that I would own. We haven't gotten to the one that I would probably
That's a
choose,
good one.
But I love this page. I have this close-up here of his broken face. I've had this as my phone wallpaper for like 3 years. I had that. I love that page.
It's amazing. All right, issue 64. And it's a hand cover.
It is
Gotta love those hand covers.
reminiscent of issue 111.
11.
Just 11.
Yeah, and 110.
110, yeah. 110. You're
Is it
right.
110? Okay.
Oh man.
No,
You know
it's
what? You know what you
111, isn't it?
lose.
No.
No,
is 111.
I think it's.
So I was right.
No, I think it's 110. 111 is the variant cover that I have, which is the hand one I did, but I feel like it's
I think it's, yeah.
I think it's 109.
No,
I
it's
actually
not.
think it's
Definitely
109.
It's definitely not 109. 100% it's not 109.
All right, go on. So
I think it's 110. All right, so continuing on.
Pretty much, Conquest just laughs at him and says,
laughs at
"Do
what
you,
he
do you
says.
think that you can really hurt me? Okay, do your worst." And then they charge at each other, and then we get yet another 2-page, huge spread. Just it's the whole 2-page thing.
If it counts as one page, this is the one I was
Right.
thinking of.
Right, and
This
and
isn't to own. This is an incredible page.
This is absolutely fucking astonishing. And the thing that you miss in the crease of the comic is Mark's hand, his arm breaking.
No, actually. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that is how he breaks
That's
that
how
arm.
he breaks that arm.
You're right.
And it's because
I never
all,
did- I
all
did
you
never-
see
I
is
didn't-
his arm going into the machine arm,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, you know.
I do love how, and this is they talk about it in the Ottley talks about it in the sketch section in the back, how Conquest's fingers remain curled in the fist form. You know what I mean? Like it just exploded from inside, and everything just goes outward. It's amazing. It's incredible. It is 110, TJ.
Conquest says, now we're getting somewhere, and then Mark.
No, from
broke.
now on, Conquest doesn't get to finish a sentence,
Yeah.
which is amazing because that just shows how he's used to talking and finishing.
does.
So
Rarely, Mark keeps cutting him off though. is
so
what I'm
here
saying.
it shifts. Here the comic shifts because
Yes.
before it was Mark saying,
That-
stop. Like, just
Yeah.
listen to me, and the desperate, like, when you're reading it, you feel his desperation. You're like, oh my god, stop. Can you just fucking stop beating on our hero for a minute and stop killing everybody that he
Yes.
fucking loves? And right now, I was never afraid for Mark. From this point on, you're just like, he is fucking crazy because
all rage.
because I mean he's fighting him. He says you don't stand up, and then Mark bites him in the fucking shoulder, chomps him out, and a Conquest says off me, like
I love this moment too. where-
Guy.
I love that.
Guy.
I love how Conquest is
monkey.
holding his shoulder and he says, "Damn!" Like real quietly, like
Conquest is fighting right now an animal. Like
Yeah.
he's fighting a fucking
I
animal.
love
that has,
Conquest response though coming up. We'll get to it, but I like this page or this panel here because you can see them in the shadow of the background while Eve is laying there on the ground, and you can
Okay.
see the two of them in the background still fighting. I love this just like little panel here. I love that.
very cool, very
and-
cinematic. It zooms in on her face, her eyes pop open. You know, it's the same panel, but her eyes glow.
Yeah.
And then just her floating into the air.
Anyways,
And
back
then-
to Invincible.
Yeah, Mark freaking out, saying "Die, die, die," and
Oh.
he sees Conquest. Now is that his eye?
It's
that's
Conquest
that's
eye.
no,
No, I think that's
not.
his. I think
not,
that's him looking.
he's looking to his right and
It's like
behind him a
he's-
little bit because you can see the corner of his eye, right?
No.
Right there.
This is Invincible looking at Conquest. There's
Uh-huh.
nothing in his eye. Then he's looking. This is Conquest's eye.
No, it's not.
And he
That's
sees
Mark's
Invincible
eye.
behind
I think
him.
it's-
Conquest doesn't have a
He
black
sees-
eyebrow.
Here's
Oh, let me prove it to you. Where is Eve in this panel? Behind Invincible.
Right, Mark is looking behind
here's what I'm gonna say,
him.
TJ. The blood splatter is almost identical with this eye. It's this eye, but it's looking like this.
Not
He's
to
going
mention-
like this.
It's not.
Yes, look, your
Conquest
Conquest.
doesn't have a black eyebrow, bro.
Eve's right here. This is Mark going like this, and you're seeing this panel.
And Conquest's right eye is dead with the scar over it. See?
Eve is
It's-
behind him. He's looking directly at Conquest. He's not looking back.
He's going like this. Look, so that's this part of his eye right here, TJ. So he's going like this.
No, he's not.
Eve?
The pupil is in the middle of his...
No, he's turning his eye that way, to the side.
Look at that crease
this
right
is
there.
his nose.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Look at that crease right there.
What is this part of his eye right there? What is that? That's this right here, TJ.
Yeah,
that's the corner of his eye.
That's his eyebrow going up. That's his eye going upward.
Wow, TJ is completely backwards.
No,
I am
you're
not. No, I don't think you're crazy, TJ, because that's why I asked the question.
It's not.
It is hard to tell, but after looking at it more, I think it is actually Mark.
It is Mark.
Regardless,
that would not make any sense.
It also
if his eyes like that.
It also goes to show with Mark, or with Conquest saying pay attention, because I think in between the panels, Mark looks at her.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a little hard to tell. So, Conquest punches him, says pay attention, and we turn the page, and it's Eve blasting Conquest.
We don't know what to extent though. We just see pink on him right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
And
you
him screaming.
And then you turn the page, and she fucking just
Fried him.
fried him.
It's just his muscles.
And said, jerk.
And then she passes out. And Mark's like, what was... Conquest goes after Eve. Mark says, you will not touch her.
It's kind of funny when he says, you won't touch her, with his, like, fucked up arm. And it's, like, kind of, like, what is he going to do, slap him?
And then he charges at him, and he starts kind of beating the shit out of him.
Oh, God,
his Conquest catches one of his punches.
His left hand.
And
his right arm's broken, and all he has is
breaks
his left
his hand.
hand. And fucking squeeze. Oh, my God.
He
Could
just
you imagine?
breaks his hand.
And
He
then,
breaks it so much that it's like squirting.
Yeah.
Like, Mark screams.
Conquest originally said, got more than enough fight left in me for you, boy. And then he breaks his hand and he goes, haha, more than enough. And then Invincible goes, not enough, not nearly, and starts headbutting him. And he goes, is this still fun? Are you enjoying yourself, having fun? As he's continuously
Well,
headbutting
answer
him.
me.
Now we get to
I take the good with the bad.
the page that I would own.
Fuck, man.
Is the double page spread of him continuously headbutting him, but it shows the two of them like full in front of a whole bunch of panels of him Invincible headbutting him.
So question.
This is the page that I would own.
This is 2 pages, Mark and Conquest.
Look how good it looks in paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is 2 pages, Mark and Conquest. Do you think there's a third separate page that they digitally put that? Because there's only one of those, and then it's just copied
It's possible.
8 times.
Yeah. Either way, I would still own it, even if it was just them.
Or no, it's only 2 times. So it's just these 2. So yeah,
it's up, down.
it'd probably be this, TJ. It'd probably be just these 2 and then those, which is still really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the blood.
Yeah.
Crazy. And you turn the page and it's just another destroyed head. Second one we've seen in this volume. Mark passes out, says, hold on, Eve, I'm coming. And he sees her, and she's laying there. And he says, how? I saw you. You were... And he says, you're alive. And she says, I am, and you too. They say they love each other. And then Mark passes out. Eve says, am I naked?
Love it.
So good.
So fucking funny.
And then
It ends, the most brutal thing you've ever seen ends with so much Invincible wit.
Yep.
Where she's like, Mark, are you? Hey, am I?
Like
and then
the two
you
of
turn
them,
page,
the two of them looking at each other like upside down.
Yeah. And that naked, and then she drifts off, and then through the portal, Cecil brought
Everyone.
reinforcements to
Like,
help.
everyone. And I've always loved how Monster Girl is covering Robot's head, so he can't see. And I just noticed recently, Bolt took his sunglasses off.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, all right, last issue in our reread. And it's issue 65. It's a throwback to issue, not 11, TJ. Throwback to issue 7, 8.
8. Issue 8. Otley's first issue.
Yeah. Same tree, same like headstone from the Guardians of the Globe. Now remember, when you were getting solicits, you were to assume that this would have been Eve's funeral.
Yep.
Just a misleading cover. Mark is in the hospital. He's been out for 3 days. Eve asks him if he remembers everything. He says he does. Starts crying. He says, I remembered you died. Eve explains what happens, that we know what happened in Invincible Presents Adam Eve, that she, under intense trauma, she can override those mental blocks. and she kisses him and says she'll be gentle. Meanwhile, D.A. Sinclair is saying that they're, what was it? Yeah. Oh, he's just telling Cecil that they'll try and get the Rihanna Invincibles done as quickly as possible because Cecil still wants them. Debbie and Ron, what's his name?
Alan.
Debbie's boyfriend.
I don't know. Would be funny if it was Alan.
Shoot, I always forget it. Hell, I don't know. They show up to the hospital to visit Mark, and Debbie has a breakdown about how she wishes she had never had like given Mark another choice in life. You know how they talked about, like, her and Nolan had talked about maybe him not becoming a superhero, that there's plenty of heroes and they don't need him. But she storms out. She's upset. Paul, she says it, Paul. And
she's upset because she feels like she was responsible,
kind of to blame for Mark having a.
With Omni-Man, she kind of knew what she was getting, and when Mark was born, they just always raised him to be like that because of Omni-Man.
Yeah. Yep. Cecil comes in. Mark demands to see the body. He sees it, and then
it gets carted away.
Yep.
She comes back in. He comes back in, and they're
Eve
talking.
says she has to go to Rex's funeral. Mark says he'd like to go. Then there is a great speech by Robot,
where he takes on Rexplode's name,
mm-hmm.
which I never liked. I don't even like that now.
No?
I never liked it.
I'm okay with it. He literally copied his body.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I didn't like it.
It's all right. I can only hope I can live up to his sacrifice. He died as he lived, saving lives. He will be missed.
It felt disrespectful to do that at his fucking funeral. Like, I'm the new Rex.
Oh, by the way, this guy's gone. I'm the new one.
Yeah, I literally took his body, and now I'm going to take his name.
I mean, I get it, though.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
It's his way of honoring him.
I felt like it was Kirkman's way of being like, I can't really make him a sinister villain with the name Rudy. So...
Monster Girl tells Rudy, Rex, that she loves him. Then Eve goes up to say a few words, but she can't. She barely says anything.
You can't skip over this because this kind of really hurts my feelings because we're Mark in this story. You know what I mean? You associate... Rexplode he was my first everything. Like, that's kind of hard to... I granted she...
But that's why she didn't want to say it. She was she didn't... Mark knew that something, you know, like, kind of talked to her and was like, what's going on? And she's like, I just feel bad saying it to you. I feel guilty because I'm feeling this way, but I just found out that he had died, so I'm trying to deal with everything all at once. And he was my first everything, and I've known him for so long.
She says, can I say I loved him?
Yeah.
Is it too weird for me? He meant so much to me before he cheated on me. If I'm honest, I was already starting to have feelings for you before he did that. It just makes me feel more guilty. I'm a wreck.
She said that because she's known him for so long, when you know somebody for that long, once they screw up, it's hard to get that out of your mind, and they're just always that person. She regrets it.
Yeah.
I think it's really cute that, like, she's doing this and she's asking Mark, are you smiling? He's like, I'm sorry, I thought I lost you. I can't stop thinking about how you're here and you're okay and I can't help it.
Yeah.
And she just kisses him. Mark is just such a good fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go back to their apartment and they do it.
Yep.
Which Eve made her boobs a little bigger in the transformation. She said, I improved a couple things.
She took Mark's clothes off and folded them neatly beside the bed.
I know, like, you know, fold them all neatly, and
which they didn't. This is our first indication that her powers are on the fritz. Because his clothes are starting to, like, melt and transform.
Turn into rock and turn into plants.
Flowers.
Oh, yeah, the rock. I never really noticed that rock. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, here you go.
Now we get the technicians again.
They fix Angstrom's hand. He says that it feels the same, and he says, what do you want from me? The technicians say, Angstrom Levy, you have witnessed firsthand what our ambitions have done to this world. You have borne witness to what we have had to do to ourselves in order to survive here. What makes you think we'd want to stay here? And that is only the beginning of what we require from you. And we do see them one more time before the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's before they send him back to Earth.
We get the...
Soon, not long now.
He actually says, not long now. He finally gets his bigger place. He's in the sewer. And we see the one of the two firefighters or construction workers, whatever it is they are, in the background with other people there too, also taken over by the Sequids.
Sequids.
No.
Then we've got a outpost deep underground in the Mojave Desert. Donald is there talking to Cecil and saying, "You really think this was a good idea?" Cecil is looking at the head of Conquest, encased in 400-ton block of solid tempered steel. He's saying he's not going anywhere, but when he regains consciousness, he's going to tell us everything he knows about the Viltrum threat.
I'm glad they didn't keep that, until 8 issues from now.
Yeah.
Because even the look on Cecil's face when Mark's like, "Oh, he's dead. He's
These
really
next,
dead."
I mean, we're in issue 60.
Yeah.
Issue 75 is halfway through the Viltrumite War.
Mm-hmm.
This moves really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last 2 pages are Mark and Oliver talking, and
Mark pretty much tells him that he's been right up the whole time.
Yeah.
And if I had just killed Angstrom from the beginning, none of this would have happened. How many lives I'm responsible for, and if anything like this ever happens again, I won't hesitate to kill them all.
Do you guys know what's coming up next? Oh,
what's coming up now?
I know.
Minus Mark
Nolan and Alan Adventures.
Nolan and Alan Adventures. Do you know?
Oh shit! It's
Do you
Dinosaurus.
fucking know it's fucking Dinosaurus?
All right.
I'm gonna be busy during that one.
We've got a couple things of feedback before talking about some other stuff. Wyatt Layne says, "One of my favorite things about Conquest is when it starts. After the Invincible War story, I remember thinking that was the big event, and there would be a few slower issues afterwards for everyone to heal and move forward. Instead, we get the biggest event of maybe the whole series. Having Conquest show up right after the Invincible War does such a good job of not only catching Mark on its heels, making us more worried about whether or not he can win, but also catching him at a moment that he's full of anger, looking for a fight." That is brilliant. When else do we see, one major event followed by another major event, and it's great motivation for Mark, like you said, and it's also really exciting as a reader having all of that. Paul Hill says, "First time I read these issues, I was playing catch up. I knew the stories coming up, not in depth, but was eager to get to them and find out myself what the deal was. My disappointment was Invincible War was only 1 issue, but hey, we got Conquest." Ben, over from the Nerds Chatting podcast, says, "For the reread, I have one question. Is this the best volume of Invincible ever? I think so."
It is. It is.
Dinosaurus is coming up pretty soon.
Honestly, the only reason to say that it's
11.
not is because it's that thing where it's who's your favorite character? Oh, Invincible. Oh, of course it is. But
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you don't want to say it is because it's so popular, but it fucking is. It is.
It's so good. It's so
so
good.
fucking good.
But I love Volume 11. I love the last one we just
You're
did.
crazy.
This one is amazing because of the fight and because of the epicness of it. Volume 11
The
had
dialogue,
everything.
though.
Volume 11 had everything.
Mm-hmm.
It had the time travel. It had the dialogue. It had Powerplex. It had so much.
Everything you just said. It had, this volume had death. It had character building. It multiple deaths. It had Conquest. Everything he was saying, that was fucking character.
You know what it feels like?
Oh.
It feels like saying
It had 2 events in 1 volume.
this feels like Infinity War. This feels like Infinity War and Endgame, and saying that you I don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy as a better movie than Infinity War. You know what I mean? Or Winter Soldier. Or you know what I mean? Whereas
That's not crazy.
No.
You just said. Winter Soldier is a better movie than both of those movies combined.
What I'm saying is this feels like the Infinity War and Conquest type thing. And me saying I like Volume 11 as my favorite volume feels like me saying I like Guardians of the Galaxy more than Infinity War. You know what I mean? It's just fun. It's just, it has so much to it.
It makes total sense.
I'm just trying to think of an example.
Best.
It is probably the best.
Is a relative word here.
Exactly.
It's you can't
It's just so good.
What do you like more? You know what I mean?
I will go out on a. I'm gonna make a bold statement. Are you ready for my bold statement?
Go for it.
I think that as I hold this volume trade paperback in my hand of Conquest, without these pages that I hold in my hand, I don't think that Invincible would be as big as it is.
Really?
It would not have the fan base that it does now.
Yeah.
I think it would still be obviously extremely popular. I still think that we would be here doing what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
However, it wouldn't be as big.
This was the turning point?
This was a statement for
catalyst?
this was a statement for Invincible. This was a statement for Kirkman. Like, yeah, we're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
We're fucking crazy over here at Skybound.
I don't think you're crazy to say that because how we always talk about it. It's everyone's favorite arc.
Yeah.
It has to be.
A lot of people talk about how they get to this point in the comic and they're close to giving up.
Yeah.
And it saves them. And it pushes them forward.
Mm-hmm. I know. Avery over on Twitter says Conquest is a top 3 villain, Invincible villain. Easy. And then Jordan Gilbert says that he finally got a friend into Invincible, and they're right around this section and close to reading Conquest, which is cool. Our friend Rachel just finished Invincible. She read the whole thing.
Basil Rachel?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yep. She
Really?
finished the final volume like last week.
What did she think?
She loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She thought it was really good, and she wants to. She says she feels like she wants to read the whole thing over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like she now knowing everything, like wants to kind of read it again.
That feeling when you finish something and you just it's over and you want something else.
Yep. And then we know Will Smith over on Twitter and everything like that. He sent us some cool Invincible art that he did. Well, I think I'm pretty sure I've seen him post this on Twitter. If not, I'll post it. Otherwise, that does it for our reread. You guys ready to talk some other stuff? TJ, what are you up to?
The iconic.
For what?
Oh, I thought you were like looking for something.
No.
You good? Okay.
Yeah.
Volume 11 or Volume 12. Volume 13 is next, and that's going to lead into the Viltrumite War.
Yeah.
Yeah. The end of Volume 13 is going to lead us into the Viltrumite War.
Yeah,
This is also it's our 75th episode of this podcast. We are halfway through our reread of the entire series. There's 25 volumes.
Wow. Quick.
Yeah. That did go really quick. I remember starting it and being like, so this will take us 25 months.
It was almost a year ago now.
Yeah, that would be.
Wow.
So, yeah, halfway there.
So what do you got for other stuff now?
Right.
If you guys want to stick around even longer, because this has been a long one.
It shouldn't be
really
too long.
We're at about 2 hours right now, probably.
Episode 75. We'll be all right. What movies have you guys seen in theaters?
In theaters?
Yeah, have you seen anything lately?
Spider-Man.
TJ, did you see Lion King?
Spider-Man? No.
Okay. I thought it was okay. I mean, we talked about it already and off air. It was all right. I'm usually a big fan of all the Disney movies, even the live action stuff, and it was just okay in my opinion.
Spider-Man is old news right now.
It is by now, but we haven't talked about it.
But I thought that it was fucking phenomenal.
I thought it was very good, and I'm not a big fan of the Marvel movies, and I thought that Jake Gyllenhaal definitely a top 3 best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
The second half...
I kind of want to say my favorite.
Wow.
I won't say best, but...
Yeah.
The second half of Far From Home was one of the best things that
it was
I've
incredible.
seen.
The second half was so
The second half was just
good.
ridiculously fucking amazing.
The scene with Mysterio was one of the best things I've seen in a superhero movie.
It was Arkham Asylum, bro. It was fucking Scarecrow, like real life. Like we were all watching it, we were all thinking the same thing.
Yep. I
different times.
texted you guys afterwards.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Did you guys think of this?"
Holy fucking shit! So yeah,
I literally said that walking out of the theater.
Yeah, it was so good. Well, speaking of video games, first,
I finished Stranger Things.
Not TV shows yet.
Oh, okay.
Hold that thought. You guys excited at all about the Marvel Phase 4 lineup?
No.
Really?
Not even a little. But I could say that
it's
about...
going to change drastically.
But I could say that up... I could honestly...
They all have. Have you ever seen the comparisons of the announcements?
I think the only thing that will change is they'll add Spider-Man. And the other one, and the Phase 3 didn't change that much. All that was different was Spider-Man was added because they got the rights to him and they took out Inhumans.
They also changed the entire Avengers.
Yeah, they
how
changed.
that was going to happen.
It was always 2 parts. It was just called Part 1 and Part 2.
I saw something. I don't think I saved it.
Either way,
I remember,
that was also several years. This is only the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I remember I felt the same exact way when they announced like Doctor Strange and
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm like,
Ant-Man.
oh, what the fuck are that? What are these? Because it's not like a staple name. You know what I mean? Like I don't know anything.
I think the premise for the next Thor is going to be awesome. I'm really excited for all the Doctor Strange and like WandaVision.
I cannot fucking wait for Doctor Strange 2.
Multiverse of Madness.
Oh my god, it's gonna be fucking amazing.
I'm really excited for
Doctor Strange at its best was like one of the best things that I've ever, like them filming that scene in reverse, whilst also there being an action scene happening, and then all the stuff with the different dimensions was fucking amazing.
Dealing with multiverse and Scarlet Witch, like, dude, it's gonna be really cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Otherwise, video game wise, I got Ultimate Alliance. I played like one chapter. I just got it recently, but I've been busy. Excited to play more of that. TJ,
how
did you do any more?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
Of what? God of War?
God of War.
Are you a fucking asshole?
Ryan, how have we not played Crash Team Racing?
I know.
How the fuck?
What the fuck are you talking about? You haven't played God of War.
Huh?
Have you got it yet?
No. But every time I see it, I'm like, how?
Next time it's on sale, we should just get it. So all right, you want to do TV shows? I feel like I've been watching so many TV shows, and I've read so many comics. Like I'm so
me too. I'm exhausted.
I'm so caught up on stuff now. This is like the most caught up I've ever been on stuff that I've been wanting to get caught up on.
Yeah.
So TV shows, Bill.
Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, you finally
People have said that it's the best season of that, and then it's also like one of the best things that they've ever seen. Like I have this one friend that was like putting it up there with Breaking Bad. I'm like, you're fucking crazy.
I took this as season 3 of Stranger Things as a very good filler season. It felt very filler. Like it was just like quick, and everybody was like off. Like, oh, this. Like in the writers' room, they're like, "Oh, it would be cool to put these people together for the entire fucking season, and these people together for the entire."
That's what they did
like
too.
It felt like one episode.
Like Dustin wasn't with anybody for the entire series.
It felt like one single episode. I'm not saying it was bad. I thought it was okay.
I think
that season 2 was better than season 3, taking away emo 11.
I fucking love that episode.
Oh no, it was terrible. It was really bad.
I thought this season could have. I felt like season 3 could have been the point where this show got real bad. And in my opinion, I actually really liked season 3. I think I liked it a little more than season 2. I think it's a relatively consistent show, and I'm still happy with it. And the quality is great. The characters are a lot of fun, and I'm excited for the next.
Are we all in agreement that season 1 is the best of the 3?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's not. For me, it's not even a question. But I
think a lot of that is the unknown.
Like I'm starting to. Yes, you're right.
But there should be more unknown.
You're right.
Now.
Yeah.
Like I think that the way that they're handling the whole universe of the Upside Down is really starting to bother me. Like I don't care about the mind flare anymore. Like I don't like body snatching. I don't like that kind of story.
Yeah.
And
no demigorgons.
That's
not
true.
I mean, like
that's not true. At the very end.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
You don't have that lingering.
Yeah, there wasn't the alien.
Threat.
Like the first season 1 was like Alien. Like there was this thing out.
My question for you. The Mind Flayer was introduced in the second season as like this hive mind, right? Yeah. Because it could control the demi-dogs, which were demigorgons and stuff. But control them all the time or only when it needed to? Because it can like humans, like it can control humans when it wanted to, but not all the time. I guess I just don't understand the relationship or what's going on in the Upside Down. Like, why are you there? The Demogorgon. Yeah. That's the other thing. The Demogorgon. I always go back to the first season where it like came through the wall. Mm-hmm. Like it could just break through the plane of the Upside Down in the real world like whenever it wanted to. But then you need a gate for the fucking Mind Flayer to do that. But then
a lot of that feels.
But then couldn't the Mind Flayer like sense the real world when that Demogorgon was there because it could kind of fucking control him? Like, do you see where my mind just goes off the fucking rails?
And I feel like a lot of that feels very 80s movie tropey kind of things, which this movie had was 7 different 80s movies in one.
I was like, is that the fucking Terminator?
Dude, dude, there's so much of that.
At one point, he got hit in the head, and he turned his head, and I was expecting to see metal. Like I was straight up expecting to see fucking metal.
I mean, that in itself, if nothing else, this show is such a love letter to those kind of movies that it's so fun just to watch that.
Them watching Back to the Future was one of my favorite. And then how
I love the whole mall. The mall was awesome.
Dustin was in the theater walkie-talkieing the guys, and he was like, "Oh, Code Red, this is happening," and the music is actually the score to Back to the Future, the really crazy
that was awesome.
Was the actual music for the scene, and I was like, "This is fucking great!" Like the last two episodes were almost the best Stranger Things that I've ever seen. You know what I mean? The most fun, the most and then the end, I cried.
Dan, it was so good. Yeah,
Al
but
reading
yeah.
the note.
Did
You cry a lot.
I didn't cry. I was teary-eyed.
I am all caught up on Final Space. It is very good.
It's so good.
It's
The
so
second episode. Oh wait, what's her name? The pink-haired girl. I always forget.
Ash.
Her name. Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're just peeing all around the ship, and I'm like, all right, this is kind of whatever. But then the ship comes on, like the intercom, and goes, there is another ship approaching, and Ash, you now have a UTI. And she's like, yes. Ash is my favorite character in Final Space.
She's awesome.
She's so good.
Yeah, she's alright.
It's so smart though. The last, oh my gosh, like the episode with his mom, how that ended. Oh
Yeah, Goodspeed or whatever, the Mrs. Goodspeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good.
love that.
Katie and I are watching the final season of Orange is the New Black. Did you catch up on that show, TJ?
No, not yet. I'm gonna watch that. Probably, I'm gonna start it probably.
Yeah, but
tomorrow.
Wait, I'm
you're
sorry.
all caught up to the last season.
Oh, yeah.
We're just gonna skip over how we find out where Mooncake came from.
Oh yeah.
And it was like such in passing, like how the arachnatax are like, oh, and then through creating this, a little piece of Final Space came through, and he's like, okay, so like my dad created Mooncake, so he is mine then, right?
Yeah.
Like it was just like so fucking subtle. I'm sorry, go on.
No, yeah. We're like halfway through that season of Orange is the New Black.
I hear this one's good.
It's I actually I'm glad it's the last season though. I'm ready for this show to be over.
Mhm.
How much of The Boys have you guys watched?
0. I watched the first 5 minutes of the first episode, and
TJ?
I have the season finale to go.
Really?
Mhm.
Do you like it?
I love it. It's
Like,
amazing.
Holy
It
shit!
really is.
So I will
It started
say,
out and I'm like,
guys, I haven't seen
there's no spoilers here. There's no spoilers here. I will say, I read like I want to say the first 2 issues, at least the first issue. I wasn't really feeling it. It's that early 2000s, like really like pushing the how far they can go with the amount of sex
like
and
Wanted.
like it's even more so. You know
Really?
what I mean? Like,
Because that comic got a little fucking risque. Like,
yeah, I'd say it's more so. It wasn't for me, and just raunchy for raunchy's sake. It seemed like just real edgy, and it made sure you knew, and so knowing that, and then seeing like the first trailer had me intrigued, but then seeing like the second trailer and stuff for The Boys, I was like, oh, maybe this is just gonna be too much.
I didn't know a lot about it, honestly,
Yeah.
because
I
I
don't
knew
know
I was gonna
anything
watch
about
it.
it.
I just
I
knew
didn't
it
know
was
Simon
going to
Pegg was
be-
in it.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
that wasn't really known.
You asshole.
First of all, he's very prominent in the first trailer, so
I don't
fuck you.
remember seeing
Second
he's
of all,
not.
he's also in like the first 5 minutes, so if you watch the first 5
Yeah,
minutes, he
it's
should
not,
fucking be
it's
there.
not that big of a deal. He's in the.
It's not a surprise.
He's like in the second
And he
scene.
was in the first trailer. I
No, he was
guarantee
not.
it. I will money.
We'll watch it after this.
Anyways.
$5. We shook on it.
Anyways,
But you
so
also owe me tons.
as the trailers progressed, and I saw like the second or third trailer or whatever, I was like, maybe I'm not gonna like this because this is this ultra violent. It is like I was worried it was gonna be like that, just too much and not really any depth to it, and it's just gonna be gory for gory's sake and just whatever. And I was so wrong. It's so good. Like there's so much to it, and so much like the characters are amazing. The quality is way better than I expected. It is not even close to like a CW level type of
Not even
show.
close.
It's really good.
I will
like the way
say-
they handle powers and the special effects and like flying and stuff like that. It is not like it's not cheesy. It's not and it's like it's goofy when it needs to be goofy because there's definitely weird shit that happens, but it's always in world and in character, and it just
I will say that I didn't realize it until later on in the series, or maybe halfway through the season 1, and you having not watched it can keep an eye out for it too early on. But how good of an actor Homelander is.
holy
He's
shit.
such a fucking
Dude,
good actor.
That's what everybody's saying.
Holy shit.
Everybody's
Are
saying
they?
that. And
I didn't
everybody's
even hear
saying,
that.
everybody's
between
saying
him
that.
and Jack Quaid, like they're both
Are
really
you reading
good.
stuff about it? Don't
No.
read stuff about the boys.
Just like every review that there is of like the series, and I'm not reading anything like, oh, I want to see what I got, and fucking IGN give it a 9. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
really.
like everything is like
But
the guy who plays Homelander is fucking great.
Dennis Quaid's son is in it, and he plays like one of the main characters.
He's the main character.
Yeah, pretty much, and he's awesome in it too.
Is he's the tech guy? The guy that
He
works
was-
at the
yeah.
Oh,
Dennis
that's
Quaid's
Dennis Quaid's son?
and Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan.
What? They had offspring?
A super actor baby.
Yeah.
What
and
the
he's,
fuck?
He's awesome.
He
in
is
it.
awesome. He's
But
really
dude,
good.
Homelander is like
Crazy good.
I'm
can't
so
wait
mad
to-
right now that I'm not watching.
I can't wait to
Stop.
talk to you guys about
It's so
this
good.
when we get into spoilers someday.
So do you have even more confidence
Yes,
with
dude.
Invincible?
And I put that
being-
tweet out today because like not only do I have more like listen to this sentence.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Seth Rogen having a part in a superhero show on Amazon Prime, and it's 8-hour-long episodes, and it's R-rated. What
Okay.
did I just describe?
The Invincible animated show.
And The Boys.
Oh, okay.
Except one is animated and one is live action. They're both like
The
Seth Rogen
same.
is involved with both of these things.
Mhm.
8-hour-long episodes. Invincible, rated R, or superhero, rated R. Like watching this, I had so much more faith in not only Seth Rogen as being able to adapt Invincible, but like being able to like channel these kind of actors.
But
and, like,
Seth
and I
Rogen
know
isn't-
it's just I know
But
he's
Seth
just,
Rogen isn't doing anything with the animated show. Like,
Oh no,
he's-
no, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's cool that like.
Do you have more
which-
faith maybe in
he is a voice
the
in the
live
animated
action?
show. He
Right,
is a
I
voice.
understand. That's why.
But I have more faith in the live action and
movie.
yes, because of Seth Rogen being a part of this. But I also have a lot more faith in Amazon Prime, knowing that they're willing to put something like this out. And I don't think Invincible is going to be push the boundaries as much as this does.
I haven't even seen it. I've just seen the trailers, and I know.
Well,
Here's-
but that's what I'm saying. Like Amazon's willing to put out, and that also tells us Amazon put all this out in binge format, which means they're probably going to drop all of Invincible at once.
So
That's one thing that I was kind of
8-hour-long
surprised about.
episodes.
They released the entire
So
series.
that's
at
probably
once.
what they're going to do for Invincible.
Yeah.
one thing I like that's not Amazon related, but just The Boys itself and it being popular and it being
Yeah.
growing, I think may actually put a fire under Seth Rogen's ass and Evan Goldberg's ass to
Something
fucking
that's-
do something with it because it's going to
Something
be
that scares
successful.
me is the similarities that it shares with Invincible.
Careful.
I'm not, again, this is no spoilers.
Okay.
There's a world with superheroes in it,
Okay. That's violent.
and it's violent.
Bill,
and
you
it's
sure you
live
just
action.
don't want to like just watch the last
But-
episode and
But
then
what if-
go back
so-
years
so what
I
if-
later?
invested
so what-
fucking years in
So
The
what I'm
Walking
saying
Dead.
is if Seth Rogen is involved with a live action superhero world that's rated R, that's successful, like why push your luck? He's already got it. You know what I mean? So that makes me a little nervous. And the fact that like it's gonna be way easier, and we've talked for years about how it'd make a better animated series, just do it animated. And if the animated's successful, then you don't need to do the live action. So I'm like kind of mentally preparing for that. But hey, this gives me so much more faith. Like Invincible is a very different story too, and we'll talk about it more after you've seen. But Invincible at its core is a very different story.
Do you
than
think
the Boys.
that the Invincible movie is still going to happen, but pending the success of the animated show on Amazon? Like, imagine if it blows up like The Boys does, and The Boys is going to get even bigger, I'm sure. So imagine if the Invincible show comes out, people fucking love it, and then they make a big announcement, like, because we know that there's going to be an Invincible movie because
no
we
matter
fucking follow it.
what, we are going to see and hear more about the animated series than the movie. I'd love it if I'm wrong, but they're not going to do. Comic-Con's already
But I'm
over.
saying-
we're going to see we're not going to see anything from the Invincible movie
I'm
for
saying,
a while.
oh, I know, but I'm saying that the Invincible movie right now is just, they're not going to talk about it or even work on it at all until the animated show comes out, and
And
then
they see how
they're going to
reception-
see how people like Invincible, and then, oh, hey, guess what? This cartoon is going
Yeah.
to be adapted into a live action movie, which was adapted from
Maybe
this comic
because
book.
I think they're going to be very different. I think because the animated series is coming out,
Right.
I think Seth Rogen's going to use that as an opportunity to make it very different. And seeing how different, and I think you kind of needed to, because the Boys had to change to be able to be converted into live action. But seeing how he's converted that, he can change Invincible a lot while still staying true to it and make it its own thing, and it's going to be a lot different than the animated series.
How's Carl Urban?
Fucking awesome.
Because I love him.
He's so good.
I love
I can't
him
wait.
in
You
everything.
go watch. We're ending this. You got to go watch The Boys. Oh shit, we got to talk about comics. I have read a handful of comics. Not only did I have to read Invincible, and I wanted to reread Walking Dead and everything like that. And TJ, you read a shit ton of Walking Dead this last month.
This last week.
But I am also reading X-Men because they did
That
that
started new.
relaunch with that Hickman relaunch.
I want to pick that up too.
Are you gonna read it?
Yeah, I'm gonna read it.
Me,
Yeah.
you, and Mike Carter will talk all about it.
My new bill.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot. Like it's like, hey, you don't need to know anything going into this. It's a new launch, and it's like
That's awesome.
There's a ton of shit going on. Like it's intentionally very confusing,
Yeah.
which is a little hard, but it's also very brilliant in certain cases. It's crazy. It's one of those things that every time I talk to someone about it or I think about a certain page or panel, you're discovering more or connecting the dots. It's like a slow burn. It's really crazy. Do you want to say it? Which one do you think that we both read?
I didn't read it because I had to read Walking Dead. But so last time we recorded, we were like, oh, we're gonna read Walking Dead, and then I went home and then I read 2 issues of Walking Dead, and then with Batman White Knight Part 2 coming out,
Yep.
I wanted to reread the first one because I didn't retain it. It had been so long. So I started reading that, and then I was like 2 issues from ending when you texted and you were like, yeah, we're going to be ready for Walking Dead. I'm like, fuck. So I got to read all this Walking Dead in a week. So I haven't read the new issue because I want to finish the first White Knight. But yeah,
I
I'm looking
reread
forward to
because
that.
I forgot a lot of it too. I reread the last 2 issues of White Knight
I started from the
of the first volume. God, it's so good.
It's so fucking
good. And then obviously the first issue of Part 2 is really good. This is Ezreal, Bill.
If
You really
anybody
gotta
had, we should not be the ones talking about this. You should be talking
I can't
about it.
wait.
It's
We're gonna
Azrael.
get that. We're gonna get this too as well.
Sean Gordon Murphy is like one of the best artists out there right now. Like it's literally this. It's like a new Hush. It's like an amazing Batman story that involves Azrael, and it's got great art. You should definitely read it.
We'll pass it along. So yeah, did you read anything else?
No, I didn't read anything else.
I thought I did, but I might just be forgetting about it. So yeah.
I mean, there was Ascender. Ascender's on its 6th issue now.
Holy shit! Already?
Yeah, 6 or what? Well, it's coming out.
Is
It's
it? Do you
crazy.
still like it?
Yeah,
Still
it's
batshit
awesome.
crazy?
It's awesome. I still got to catch up on Buffy,
Mm-hmm.
but I've loved everything I read of that.
Now that I feel like I'm caught up on a lot of shows and comics and everything like that, I gotta push through this and start reading things that are in my backlog
Yep.
because I want to
That's
get
what
a
I'm
lot
trying
of
to do,
reading
too.
done before New York Comic Con.
Yep.
So that's it.
Oh, I got to catch up on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Before we
Oh
talk to
yeah, me
Ottley.
too. Yeah, I know.
Gotta catch up on that.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Let us know what you think of The Boys. Write to us. Let us know what you think of Volume 13, which we'll be reading next month. And I don't know what the main topic's going to be for next month. Maybe I'll announce it on Twitter. But that'll be our last episode before going to New York Comic Con, which is really exciting. So, as always, Wyatt Layne has provided us with our outro song. This one's called 3089, and you can find his music over on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. Just look for Wyatt Layne. That does it for us. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, later. Goodbye.
tell him
make
about
that.
our phone calls? About our bi-weekly phone calls about how we're gonna trim our beards?
I mean, maybe in passing, because I didn't know if you wanted him to
The hell?
join the...
He's not in the beard club.
You didn't tell me. I just knew.